Hello everyone. Thank you very much for having me today. My name is Jong Lok Do and I am working at the IDB Invest. IDB Invest is an international organization which aims to support the private sector in Latin America and the Caribbean. I would like to sincerely congratulate you on today's conference held under the theme A New Era of the Healthcare Innovation. I hope that today's discussion and agenda will serve as an important stepping stone to move to the next level of the development and progress. In perspective of IDB Invest and today's conference, I would like to emphasize that the Health on Cloud is an essential partner of the IDB Invest. IDB Invest and Health on Cloud, we together are preparing a new project to apply the virtual healthcare system in Latin America. With the virtual healthcare platform, hospitals, universities, and health professionals in LAC region can learn and experience new skills of the surgery and medical treatment. I would like to discuss the meanings and importance of this new project in three ways. First, the LAC region has witnessed the real importance of the healthcare as it suffered from COVID-19. Through this project, ultimately, we hope to better protect our lives and save our people through the innovation of healthcare. Secondly, we believe that new IT technology for healthcare can contribute to eliminating the blind spot of the healthcare. Healthcare can be meaningfully upgraded by creating a virtual platform that can overcome the constraints of the distance and time. Thirdly, by applying Korea's excellent technology to the context of the Latin America, we look forward to opening up new horizons of cooperation in healthcare between Korea and Latin America, and further contribute to the betterment of the global healthcare. While we expect great outcomes from this conference, we also expect great results from the collaboration between IDB Invest and Health on Cloud. Thank you for your time.
Hello everyone. I am Sundo Cha, the president of Korea Health Industry Development Institute, an organization whose primary goal is to contribute to the progress of Korea as a leading global hub for bio and digital health, thereby making a significant impact on a global scale. When I first heard about the International Healthcare Metaverse Conference and its purpose, I immediately realized that it's not just a regular conference. It serves to symbolize a beacon of hope for those who harbor dreams of bringing about meaningful change to global healthcare landscape. It underscores the power of collective action and emphasizes that this new digital frontier will require a unity in numbers. I firmly believe that it will be through cooperation and collaboration that we can turn this aspiration into reality. I encourage you to see the opportunities provided by this event and learn to work together, leveraging each other's strengths to make your dreams possible. Together, we can shape the future of healthcare and create a lasting impact on the lives of individuals around the world. I hope everyone enjoys the conference, and I wish you all the best moving forward. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Richard Hebden. I'm Director of Health and Life Sciences at Innovate UK, the UK's National Innovation Agency, and part of UK Research and Innovation, UKRI. I'd like to send our warmest regards to the IHMC Conference 2023 taking place in Singapore and online, and we are pleased and proud to be supporting this year's conference. We see this as a great opportunity to explore international collaborations in the health tech innovation space. And we believe health tech innovation presents a number of solutions to a range of healthcare delivery challenges, including addressing healthcare inequalities and delivering quality healthcare at scale. If you'd like to explore collaborating with Innovate UK or our partners or stakeholders in the UK, there is an email connection at the bottom of the screen. And finally, I'd just like to say, enjoy the conference. Hope you'll learn lots of fantastic new things, make some great new connections, and get the most out of this event. Thank you very much.
I'd like to welcome you all to the International Healthcare Metaverse Conference 2023. My name is Ben Bridgewater. I'm the Chief Executive of Health Innovation Manchester. Health Innovation Manchester is what we call our integrated academic health science innovation system. We work on behalf of the 3 million people in Greater Manchester to discover, develop and deploy innovation. Our partner ecosystem includes the 4 universities, all the providers of healthcare services in Greater Manchester, that's hospitals, primary care, social care, the Commissioners of Healthcare Services, but importantly, industry partners who are a key bit of the innovation ecosystem, and those industry partners are both local, national and international. We're absolutely delighted to be having the conference here today. It's really important to us. We very much focus on digital, not as an exclusive thing, but digital being part of all the innovation that we do, and we welcome the discussions which will happen through the day. Greater Manchester has always been an innovative city. For those of you who know their history, Greater Manchester was called out as the first modern city in the middle of the 19th century. It was the centre of the world for the cotton industry, and had all the benefits that came from industrialisation and all the challenges that came from industrialisation. So that innovation led to challenges which required further innovation in terms of how you set up cities and structured cities. But innovation didn't stop there. People may or may not know, but the first computer was developed in Manchester just after the Second World War, and that innovation has gone on from then. Digital is obviously the fundamental transformational technology of our time, following on from the printing press and the internal combustion engine and various others. And digital is now completely changing the way everything works in society. And at healthcare, I think we're only at the start of that. We're in the foothills, I think. But the conference that you're having today is really designed to pick that up and take that and kick that much further forward, particularly looking at the use of extended reality in that setting. And you'll hear a lot about that today, and a lot about what Greater Manchester and specifically Royal Manchester Children's Hospital is doing in that regard, as well as other examples. We all know that digital drives collaboration. It's in the very essence of digital technologies, that they drive collaboration between parties. But of course, what you really need to do is to work towards solving problems through those collaborations. And we'll have great examples to hear specific things that have been done in that regard today. But what I think is also important is this concept of organised serendipity, where you have an opportunity for people who've got similar and sometimes differential capabilities coming together to have conversations about current themes. And in terms of the digital approach to both being humble and learning by doing, I'm sure that today will trigger lots of interesting conversations which will be picked up through the day and into the future. I wish you all very well with the conference.
Hey, and welcome. Cool. Hi, my name's Professor Ralph McKinnon. I'm a consultant from Royal Manchester Children's Hospital, and I have the great pleasure of welcoming you to the International Healthcare Metaverse Conference 2023 here in the beautiful city of Singapore. We had our first conference in Manchester, and then we had our second conference in another beautiful city, Seoul, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here in Singapore, hosted at the National University Hospital, Singapore. Lovely, sorry. We're very fortunate to be hosted here in Singapore, and I am a clinical doctor, but like many of you, I am also extremely interested in the applications opportunities of the metaverse. And I hope that this session this morning, which will focus on 8 short presentations, will really allow us to expand our minds in terms of opportunities and collaborative ability that the metaverse provides for ourselves. So I guess I'm going to start with a question and really ask us to reflect for a second as to what does the metaverse really mean to us? What does it mean in healthcare? For some of us, it is really a virtual reality, immersive environment, or it may be mixed reality, augmented reality, or you will see 360 immersive filmings. But I think for all of us, particularly within healthcare, it produces huge opportunities to improve patient care, particularly with respect to how we interact with patients, going all the way through our care to try and improve morbidity and mortality. My own particular area of interest is in virtual reality CPR. And then it begs the question, what is a smart hospital? Well, I would put forward the concept that we're looking at smart institutions, not just hospitals. We're looking at places within healthcare where we educate as well as treat. So sure, it's a hospital that embraces or institution which embraces the advances in technology that the metaverse provides for us. I'd like to, just as part of this introduction, just speak a little bit about collaboration. We've heard that in the introductory supportive messages. And I'm going to start a little bit with one of my own failures. And I don't think failure is a bad thing at all. I think failure is the road to success. And I was very fortunate to be allowed to run and develop a network of hospitals in the United Kingdom, in the north of the United Kingdom, where we were trying to get simulators, hard simulators, mannequins out of cupboards after they'd been bought by hospitals. And we formed a network of 50 hospitals, 10 universities, all working together. And inspired by the work of Jean Lave and her student Etienne Wenger, the concept of a community of practice is really, really important, and that's what we based our work on. And the community of practice concept really comes from one wanting to be mutually engaged, getting everybody towards a network of people, getting people to come to meetings was super important, but have the joint accountability. So we set forth to accredit simulation centers, areas where we're teaching simulation-based education for courses and for people. And also, and perhaps most importantly, we try to get people to share resources. We try to get people to share how they were using technology in their hospitals, how they were training their staff. Now, that was the interesting part, and that's where perhaps was my failure. We tried hard to get hospitals to share what they were doing, but hospitals invest their own time and effort and weren't getting the return on investment for that they felt to be able to share. Well, hopefully, in terms of the alliance that we are creating now, particularly with respect to the metaverse, this will be a big disruptor towards that, allowing hospitals to create really high quality, be it education or care packages, and then disseminate that globally, leveraging technology to really enhance the disparity in healthcare that exists across our world. One example of this, and it is only one example, but I would argue that it's one of the best ones, particularly in my area of interest of technology-enhanced learning, is the Inspire network. That was formed in 2011, and it was formed from 3 countries, ostensibly the USA, Canada, and a little bit from the United Kingdom. And that, it wasn't a formal organization, it was really a group of researchers or pioneers in technology-enhanced learning coming together to try and stimulate and create superb research, innovation, and educational projects to enhance pediatric care. That network, again, starting from 3 countries within, I would say, 6, 7 years, had spread to over 100 countries, and now, had spread to over 100 sites, and now has over 350 sites globally where they're making a huge impact. Again, this is an international collaboration that's really focusing on not only adding to the science by doing lots of publications, 100 per year, but also by creating the frameworks to learn, to collaborate, and also providing mentorship for students and providing avenues towards accreditation, and also by sustaining themselves with grants and support. And this is a really interesting model, and I hope that when we are talking about our Smart Hospital Alliance, we use similar sort of steps to try and get this national to global impact on improving patient care. Our Smart Hospital Alliance, we are at the start of this journey now, and the journey began in South Korea, but now we have partners in the United Kingdom, in Singapore, and in Colombia, and we are growing. But there are huge opportunities again with respect to this, in terms of this collaborative partnership or alliance. And these could be in the areas that I've alluded to, in terms of enhancing medical education. We're the second session of the day today, and I'm sure you saw some wonderful remote surgery and surgical education being provided here at National University Hospital Singapore. But there's the opportunity for nurse education, which is something that we are really targeting. Both in the United Kingdom and globally. There's the opportunity to not only remotely treat, but to have teleconsultations across borders. And then, of course, there's the opportunity to develop digital therapies, and then as a collaboration or an alliance of hospitals who are driving towards this, it also produces the framework or the research Petri dish, if you like, for doing a lot of collaborative research interventions. But again, my interest, I have to be honest, is really in medical education. And if we return to the problem of getting people to share, where previously I failed, I feel now as part of this alliance, we are very much on the road to success. And this is the concept of having a platform where one can upload and ostensibly learn from the best medical education provision that's out there. So no longer will our surgical colleagues have to rely on YouTube or Vimeo or other public non-quality assured platforms. We can create together a resource where hospitals now can share that learning where previously they kept within for their own staff. They can share that learning and they can get a return on that learning, so they can create more and more, and we can spread that globally to really impact healthcare. It can be in a number of formats. This morning we saw a really fantastic immersive surgery. But in essence, this highest quality education can go from the operating theatre to your smartphone, to your laptop or desk PC if you're inside a hospital, or you can be immersed in it if you wear an HMD. And it is agnostic, so appliance agnostic. So I feel with such a platform, such, if you like, a hospital in the cloud or on the cloud, we really do have an amazing opportunity by creating this community of practice and by collaborating to really leverage technology to improve healthcare. So thank you for listening to me, and it is with great pleasure I'd like to invite the second speaker up. Thank you. I'd like to invite up Dr. Todd Chang from the Children's Hospital Los Angeles, who is an absolute pioneer in both technology-enhanced learning and in virtual reality.
It's a pleasure to meet everyone virtually as in person. My name is Todd Chang. I am a clinical physician in pediatrics and pediatric emergency medicine at Children's Hospital Los Angeles in California, United States. So we get to tell you a little bit about what we've been working on in terms of joining the Metaverse as part of the group of wonderful hospitals that's here today. I'm an educator by training, so I have to give you learning objectives. There will not be a test at the very end. A quick background about us and why the metaverse is important to everyone, but in particular Los Angeles. For those of you who haven't been to the United States, it's this big mass of land, and we're located in the southwest corner that you see below. This is California, so you might recognize some of the cities like San Francisco or San Diego, or if you like to gamble, you probably know Las Vegas, which is very close to us. This is Los Angeles County. And what you're noticing here, first of all, that's Disneyland on the bottom right. And there's about 21 hospitals in this area out of 116 that are approved to see emergency pediatrics. The other ones are not approved to necessarily see pediatric emergencies. And you're also noticing that Los Angeles County is almost like its own little country, where the bottom half, the southern half, is very urban. But the northern half, such as Lancaster, only has one hospital that's approved to see pediatric emergencies. And you can actually, and this photo over here on the upper right is an actual photo from Lancaster. That's what it actually looks like. So we have problems with accessing care across the entire county of Los Angeles. And many of us in countries or in cities will also have this problem with access. And that's where the metaverse will come in. In Los Angeles County, we have about 10 million people so far. We approximate about 2.1 million children within this area that are under 18 years of age that all need medical care. And if you visited our hospital, just a little landmarks. On the upper right is the Griffith Observatory and the Hollywood sign. You may have seen the Walk of Fame, and we're pretty close by. So if you ever visit these tourist locations, you're welcome to visit our hospital as well. One of the features of our hospitals that led us to develop more and more technological advances is that we're actually distinctly separate from our university affiliation, which is the University of Southern California. Even though CHLA is a USC hospital, we actually operate very separately. In other words, our technology partners within CHLA, the hospital, such as the Consortium for Technology in Pediatrics and KidsX, are all separate and do not share any resources from the university's medical school, as well as the Institute of Creative Technologies, which duplicate a lot of the work. The bottom USC items are actually funded by private industry as well as the US military. So it was actually very difficult to communicate between the two entities, for which many of the physicians actually work between those two. I myself have a USC affiliation, but I spend most of my time at CHLA. This is one example of the innovation studio at CHLA doing a gamification hackathon. This is one of our first. As you can see, this is before COVID, and I'm hiding on the upper left underneath the lights. And this is where we begin our journey to the metaverse. For me, and for many of us, we define metaverse in very different ways. For me, it's about the digital experience that blends together the simulated and the real. And this is actually known worldwide. One of the journals that I work on is called SimZine, and this is a journal published in Italy about the rise of the metaverse and simulation. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our work so far at the CHLA Las Madrinas Simulation Center, and this is one of the few organizations within the hospital that actually links the university plus the hospital through our metaverse work. So our simulation center feels like any other simulation center if you've worked in a hospital or medical school or a nursing school. We do our ECMO training here, and you can see behind our physicians and nurses discussing. We do a lot of work with moulage and trauma training, so this is an example of an impalement scenario that we worked with. And then we do most of our work similar to Hollywood, lots of producers and directors, and this is how we normally run our simulations. But in 2018, we decided that our VR products, which were our first at the time, needed to be the next big thing. And so with collaborations within other companies in California, whether it's in Silicon Valley, up in San Francisco, or Silicon Beach in Los Angeles, we attempted to lead before COVID medical VR training for doctors. What you'll see is actually our virtual reality room is nothing compared to what other large hospitals you may have here or at Asan Hospital in Seoul. We just have a small little room with our VR supplies that's hidden around. but this is enough to start our metaverse journey. And this is one of our nurse educators doing CPR on a product that you might hear about later. One of the ways of thinking about the metaverse for the rest of the talks today is to really think about it in 4 different quadrants. This is an article published by Kia and al., which details the 4 different ways that you can enter the metaverse, and all 4 of these link together to form the final version of whatever the metaverse will be. What we've decided to do at Children's Hospital Los Angeles is focus on the bottom 3, so life logging in the yellow, virtual reality in the blue, and mirror worlds in the green. We have not yet focused on augmented reality, but hopefully that will be next. So I'll go over it one by one. So what is life logging? Life logging is something about you, and it's augmented. It's your representation in the digital world. You donate a digital self by donating your heart rate based on your watches. You donate your medical records through telemedicine, and this is how we try to bridge the gap between the upper half of Los Angeles, where there's very few pediatric care, and then the bottom half of Los Angeles, where there's a lot of pediatric care, but there's a lot of children. So telemedicine and telehealth is a version of life blogging because you're sharing patient data and creating a digital version of yourself. And 2 different ways we've used it at CHLA include using a version of yourself that may be different than what the world perceives. And at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we actually have the largest transgender clinic in the country. And see patients up to age 26. And we use the metaverse in this context to try and project their own identity in which that they see themselves. Finally, we also do life logging with our providers, our physicians and nurses. And I have a research interest in finding out how quickly our emergency room ER doctors burn out. When do they quit and why do they quit? And how much stress do they have? And so they actually donated their own data in terms of heart rates and salivary cortisol levels, which we were able to document that, yes, your emergency doctors are very, very stressed. On this particular quadrant, this is mirror worlds, which is very different. We're in the simulation sphere, so there's no true reality, and we're on the external side. We're focusing on the locus outside of the person. And in this realm, we actually have a lot of disaster-based training. So we do a lot of work with our county emergency medical services so that we can identify disasters. And unfortunately, because we're in America, we also do mass casualty and active shooter drill training. On the brighter side, this is a pediatric simulation that we developed with a video game company so that you can actually practice managing multiple different children in an emergency department at the same time. And this is something that we were able to publish with our video game companies called Vital Signs for Breakaway. And this is owned by the company, and we're just an affiliate for this. So video games allow you to be in the mirror world, even if it's not virtual reality. And then finally, let's talk about the bottom right. VR came to us in about 2016, but VR is a way of collecting a lot of different data as well as showcasing what your virtual identity will be. So this is a company called Aptima that measures cognitive load. How much are you thinking inside the virtual reality? We were able to look at a variety of different training methodologies using this. Here's another example of the virtual reality that we saw here. And we've been fortunate enough to have funding and collaboratives with different companies. And you're going to hear from other tech companies later today. This is one called VR for Health and VR for Good that used to be Oculus from Facebook, now Oculus from Meta. And through this, we were able to create virtual environments so that people could actually practice. This is our exact copy and replica, including the colors, exactly where the monitor is, all of the lights of our trauma bay in our emergency department. And because of this, we've been able to provide a white paper and guidance to how to develop virtual reality and virtual simulations to enter into the metaverse in this world. And if you have any questions about this one, this is my life's passion, so I'd be happy to talk to you over drinks for this one. Thank you for giving me the time to speak, and we'll take any questions on here. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Sergey Kim. who is from Seoul National University Hospital, Bundong. Thank you, Sergey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sergey Kim. I am a professor of International Healthcare Center at Seoul National University Bundang Hospital, Republic of Korea. My congratulations to Professor John, and thanks to organizers to having me here. I am honored to be a part of this wonderful conference. So the topic of my presentation is immersive medical education and advanced technologies, telemedicine. So virtual reality, VR, augmented reality, and mixed reality all have the potential to revolutionize the way we deliver healthcare today, especially in hard-to-reach remote areas. Let's explore the possibilities. Of course, you are all familiar with such concepts as which connected with virtual reality. I repeat briefly. So virtual reality is an immersive experience in a computer-generated environment. Augmented reality is enhancing a real-world environment with virtual objects. And mixed reality is a combination of both VR and AR to create a new level of immersion. Today, these technologies are used in various fields, including healthcare. In particular, in the medical fields, it is the holding of virtual medical conferences for communicating between doctors, medical education and training, therapy, and etc. This video, an example of the experience of producing content in the smart operating room of our hospital for education, VR education. So it's very interesting, and yeah, students and doctors is really like this kind of content. Yeah, okay, let's see. Okay. Oh yeah. And the next is one is telemedicine. So telemedicine refers to the utilization of technology, allowing healthcare providers and individuals seeking medical service to connect virtually. This grants individuals the flexibility to receive treatment without the necessity of physically visiting a medical office. What are the benefits of telemedicine? It increases access to care, it is very convenient, it reduces the cost and improves efficiency. Of course, now there are some barriers to the telemedicine adoption, such as lack of awareness, internet connectivity constraints, legal and regulatory changes, and cost barriers. Especially the development of telemedicine began during the coronavirus pandemic. On this slide, you can see an online medical consultation process with professors of Seoul National University Bundang Hospital. And what if telemedicine is combined with the above-mentioned technologies? Virtual medical consultation. This is an example of one of the possible platforms for virtual medical consultations. I'd like to show some more video.
Looking for global medical experts for consultations? Try Curacao. Curacao connects patients and their treating physicians with professional consultation services from renowned medical experts worldwide. Our focus is on supporting the management of severe and chronic diseases. Get started by downloading the app and setting up your account. Search for experts based on your preferences and choose. Select your preferred consultation time. Write a description, choose the meeting method, and submit your request. Our medical experts will review and confirm your application, sending a notification email when approved. Be ready 10 minutes before your scheduled meeting for a seamless experience. Join Curacao, your gateway to global medical expertise.
Is one example for telemedicine in virtual reality. Yeah. So, yes. The future of telemedicine, in my opinion, is it will increase adoption, expanded service offering, and enhance patient outcomes. Here's a conclusion and future outlook. Just as telemedicine has expanded access and convenience, the integration of VR, XR, and AR will further enhance the capabilities of care delivery in telemedicine. This exciting era in healthcare technology brings forth new possibilities and advancements. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Professor Kim, for an excellent presentation. Our next presentation is by Dr. Yongji Jung from the Korean Medical Metaverse Society, which I
Hello.
Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us by Zoom.
Yeah, so I wonder you can hear me or not.
We can hear you very well. Thank you for joining by Zoom. That's fantastic.
Okay, thank you. My name is Yong Gi-jung from South Korea, and I'm sorry for my poor voice. My voice went wrong after clinic yesterday, so please apologize for that. My topic is seamless integration of the real-world practice and Excel technology, the importance of validation and efficacy. I belong to Samsung Medical Center and Metaverse Society of South Korea. A few weeks ago, there was posting by Insider, Rest in Peace, Metaverse, from 2021 to 2023. What that means. And 1 month ago, there was another posting by Forbes, the death of Metaverse is exaggerated. Currently, there are some limitations of Excel in healthcare because there are not enough content and the product is not a professional grade and there is usually no payer for product. And another problem is that between platform, there is no interoperability. So why this happens? So I will show you some video clip. It's just example. It's a video clip of some hospital advertising their Metaverse platform. They mimicking the real world hospital. What do you think of after watching this video? It looks good, but however, let's think about what can you do with this kind of platform. It is not easy to answer because there is no connection point between Metaverse hospital and real practice. So what I want to say is that don't try to create fully virtual environment replicating the real practice. Instead of that, focus on element technology and connection with real-world practice. So XR technology in healthcare or metaverse technology in healthcare should not be separated with real clinical practice and should be seamlessly integrated with real clinical practice. I will share my conceptual diagram of my ongoing project. We are developing VR avatar for emergency department and VR distress tool for cancer patient, VR rehabilitation tool for pediatric rehabilitation, and we are developing AR navigation tool for surgery and AR application for inward patient. And we employ the AI technology, XR technology, metaverse technology, and digital twin. For the connection with real-world practice, we integrated all the system with Samsung Medical Center EMR and PACS system, and we import the data from Samsung Medical Center Clinical Data Lake. I will share my example of my ongoing project, and we are developing AR-based surgical navigation. Usually, surgical navigation use only single sensor, but we employ triple sensor, one optical tracker and double RGB depth sensor. With doing that, we can upgrade the accuracy of the AR navigation. It's the example of the AR navigation. It looks good, but usually the accuracy is not good. The average error is more than 10 millimeter, but we designed the multiple sensor, so we try to reduce the average error less than 2 millimeter. And for integration with EMR and PACS, we employ the 3D model made by AR navigation into PACS system, so we can use the 3D model for patient explanation, just like cancer patient. I will show you another ongoing project of my team. It's the horse riding simulator with VR for pediatric rehabilitation. I will share video clip. This is the cerebral palsy children. He is using the VR horse riding tool. This system is fully connected with hospital EMR, and this system is operated by doctor. This is in-hospital VR rehab solution. I will show you my another project, dissection tool for medical student. It's totally metaverse VR tool, and up to 6 persons can join this program via remote connection. This technology called clipping. Clipping means that we can cut any plane of the head just like this. We can use the spherical clipping, or we can use rectangular clipping. And another function is that virtual dissection. Just like Kadeba, we can cut all the head and neck structure each by each, just like that. There are about 500 structure are created in this system. We have planned to open this system the late of this year. I hope everybody can enjoy our metaverse dissection tour late of this year. That's my point. Compare with conventional method, we can use metaverse element technology, but we have to do is the validation. We have to validate quality level or efficacy for education or practice, and we need to cut down cost. 1 or 2 years ago, many hospitals said like that. Our hospital has adopted XR technology or metaverse technology. But nowadays, slightly improved. Many hospitals say like that we employ them in conjunction with clinical practice, but that's not enough. This point is our goal. After using that, we need to validate the efficiency, or with the Metaverse technology, we need to improve patient satisfaction or treatment outcome. That's our goal. That should be our goal. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Young, for a wonderful presentation. I'm not sure if you're still there on Zoom with us. Oh, yes. Hello, Dr. Young. Hello, my name's Ralph, Professor McKinnon from Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. Thank you for an illuminating talk. I was really interested in how you were trying to seamlessly apply your XR or whichever part, augmented reality, which part of extended reality that you were using. I was wondering where you were finding the most success.
Pardon, I'm sorry, pardon.
That's okay. In terms of your seamless application inside the hospital, clinically facing, where are you finding your most success?
Definitely surgical training. And the other part is the patient satisfaction. Because the current limitation of technology, we cannot apply the XR technology in all department of hospital because our device is too heavy and we cannot use the high quality device. So currently we are focusing the surgical navigation tool and surgical training tool and patient education tool. Patient education is quite important part of our clinical practice. With XR2 or XR technology, we can improve our patient satisfaction level significantly. And then we will move to other part. For live logging that we have planned to employ live logging data to our system next time.
That's fascinating. Thank you so much again for a brilliant presentation.
Sorry, can I just ask a question?
I hope so, yes.
Yeah. Doctor, thank you for the lovely presentation. My name is Dr. Mong. I'm a cardiac surgeon from National University Hospital, Singapore. I teach in the National University Singapore Medical School as well. The application or the software, it's very impressive. How do we get access to these programs? Is it available commercially? We do have something similar.
Yeah, we have planned to open this program worldwide, but not yet. The video clip I showed is the preliminary version. So our project I think that we can show our merchandise version the light of this year, and definitely I will let you know after finalizing our dissection tour. I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Okay, so our next speaker is Dr. Won Jae Lee, also from Seoul National University Hospital, Bundong, who is about to give a super presentation on the IDB Invest program.
Thank you. My name is Won Jae Lee. I'm from Seoul National Bundang Hospital. I'm an interventional cardiologist. This one, IDB project. This one. Okay. So, it's really my honor, to talk about one of our the flag project for Smart Hospital Alliance, which is a collaboration with IDB, which is Inter-American Development Bank. So Dr. McKinnon in the morning, he already talked about Smart Hospital Alliance, but just to recap, the Smart Hospital Alliance was created in December 2021, as a bridge to connect global hospitals and medical institutions to emerging countries for the purpose of improving global clinical standards and patient medical standards worldwide. And let me give you a little background of our project. So in November 2021, the president of Colombia back then, Ivan Duque Marquez, he visited our hospital and then had a great talk with Professor Dr. John. And Dr. John introduced a virtual surgery education, and that actually led to his invitation to Colombia to for the further discussion. So this project's really objective is that we aim to provide the best expert advice to patients suffering from severe conditions in communities with limited access to healthcare in Colombia. And also, we want to provide high-level education and conference with Colombian medical experts in oncology, cardiology, and neurology. So to do this, we have many participants for this project. So IDB Invest being as a primary funding body, and also all the participants also will fund matching fund to run this project as well. And City of Bogota will be supporting, and two main Colombian hospitals, Javeriana and Santa Fe hospitals. And then you can see there's numerous partners from Korea participating in this project, including LG CNS, one of the biggest IT companies in Korea, and of course, Health and Cloud being the principal investigator, and all the other partners. So the phase one is really to set up a telemedicine system. So the objective is really to determine the effectiveness of deploying a special virtual clinic, then to connect the rural areas of Colombia to specially selected core hospital located in Bogota, which two hospitals I showed you earlier. So basically, we really want to bring in the right way of medical consultation. So as I told you, the regional core hospital being the center, and using Health and Cloud telemedicine service, we want to connect the medical centers in rural area. So, basically, internet connection is not, same like here in Singapore or everywhere. It's so limited in those areas. So, from the beginning, we were not trying to reach directly patient, but we want to set up a regional digital medical center where you can have good access to, and connecting those hospitals with core hospitals so we can provide the medical service. And we just do not want to telemedicine service. We can just talk, but we really want to provide a full array of remote consultation. So, using the virtual platform and connecting with the EMR system, but also with the support of AI and also the laboratory system, proteomics company, and also genomics company. So really, provide full consultation for a cancer or other severe diseases. And for the second phase, we want to set up a virtual medical education. So with the support of many Smart Hospital Alliance partners, we aim to offer top-tier post-grad education for experienced doctors, junior doctors, and nurses in Colombia as well. So rather than explain I'll just show you the platform that we're going to use for this education.
The e-learning platform for medical professionals and students. With Medtis, the learning becomes seamless and accessible for learners from subscribed organizations. Medtis offers a vast library of educational content from top medical experts and institutions, including surgical and nursing education videos. Some content is event presented in immersive 360-degree videos. But Medtis goes beyond content consumption. Managers can manage learners and assign courses with lectures, quizzes, and tests. Dive into these immersive courses, absorb captivating lectures, and test your knowledge. Your progress is tracked and shared with managers. Join our Medtis and unlock unlimited. Introducing Medtis, the e-learning platform.
And also, so not only the education platform, we want to be in both ways. So we want Colombian nurses and doctors who actually connect with experts as well, and using those kind of Metaverse conference platform, we also have a two-way communication as well. So what we really want to do is that this is really a just starting point. We start with the 2 hospitals and several regional centers to begin with, but this is just the beginning. What we really want to do is that we want to expand this to all the Colombian, hospitals and also to other part of South America regions as well. So what we are visioning is that connecting, using the Health and Cloud service, which has not only just the Metaverse platform, but also have remote laboratory, genetics, proteomics, and also all the medical experts in it, and connecting the regional hospitals and also the hospitals and medical centers in rural areas, so we can really provide the cutting-edge technology and healthcare to the bottom. So we really want to take this opportunity to be a stepping stone or starting point to provide universal health coverage for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Wonjae. Are there any questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, so I would like to then move on to our next presentation, which I believe is I think it's a video presentation. Oh, is it? Okay. In fact, could I ask Professor Mong to come and present, please? From National University Hospital Singapore, our hosts.
Good afternoon, fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Mong. I'm a congenital cardiac surgeon and also Director of Education in the Department of Cardiothoracic and Vascular Surgery in National University Hospital, with the special interest in the education and the innovation. I'm also involved in multiple education projects in our department. I'd like to share one of our projects, namely the mixed reality, that is holography-guided minimally invasive cardiac surgery. The operative field and the surgical exposure for the minimally invasive cardiac surgery in a cardiac surgical procedure is limited. The meticulous preoperative planning and the intraoperative guidance is required for the successful minimally invasive cardiac surgery. The disadvantage of the current navigation system is only 2-dimensional images are viewed on the monitor screen, requiring surgeons to translate the 2-dimensional pictures into mental 3-dimensional images and apply onto the patient. So you need to remember what you have reconstructed in your head and during the surgery. So repeated viewing may be necessary if one forgets the looking at the screen, if one forgets the mental 3D reconstructed images. So this can be overcome by using HoloLens 2, allowing the surgeons to superimpose 3D reconstructed render image onto the patient's anatomy. And with the use of HoloLens 2, which is the mixed reality device, surgeon can locate the most appropriate site of incision for the more accurate site of entry for the optimal operating field. And this will also allow the surgeons to line in sight, which is maintained throughout the procedures. The process of superimposing the 3-dimensional reconstructed image through the visor, which you will see in a while, it's actually quite challenging. And you need to actually superimpose manually and holding the image, pinching the image, and moving around and superimpose onto the patient's anatomy. And this allowed the surgeons to have a simultaneous interaction between the virtual and the real world. This is the HoloLens that I'm talking about, and the surgeon wear it on his head, apply it secure firmly, and through this visor, as you can see on the left bottom pictures, you can see the patient, the operating field, and also the 3D reconstructed image through the visors. And this can be used for the pre-operative planning in the many medical or surgical disciplines, for example, in the liver transplant and in the radiation therapy planning field, and of course in our area, the complex cardiac surgery. This also can be used in the intraoperative image guidance. It has used in many surgical disciplines, namely the neurosurgical discipline and the orthopedics, obs and gynae, maxillofacial, just to name a few. And of course, in our case, we use it in our complex cardiac surgical procedures. Just to play the video clip.
Surgeon is overlaying the hologram one-to-one over the rib cage of the patient wearing specialized headset that is HoloLens from Microsoft. We orientate ourselves using the reconstructed images from the patient's CT and MRI thorax or the patient's clavicle and xiphoid. This enables us to see into chest organ topography of the patient and decide where to place the optimal incision. That helps to keep it small and well placed. It also guides us in planning the insertion of the instruments and accessories and anticipate the degree of difficulty and space confinement. Next operation is minimally invasive coronary artery bypass graft procedure. Similar steps are performed, orientating using reconstructed images on the patient's clavicle and xiphoid to superimpose and fix the image on the patient. Once the image is fixed, the surgeon can take well-educated choice of appropriate intercostal space and plan his entry. This facilitates decision-making over the placement of the bypass grafts, cardiopulmonary bypass support or not, and anticipated degree of difficulty. The last operation is minimally invasive pulmonary valve replacement. Pulmonary valve replacement following tautology of fellow repair in the childhood is conventionally done via redo median stenotomy. Redo median stenotomy has its own risks. To avoid performing redo median stenotomy, pulmonary valve replacement is performed via left anterior thoracotomy. Either second or third intercostal space is entered to access to main pulmonary artery and pulmonary valve annulus for valve replacement. Reconstructed image is used to superimpose using HoloLens on the patient to help to determine the choice of intercostal space and plan for the entry so that pulmonary valve replacement can be performed through left anterior thoracotomy.
I've seen the video of the three cardiac surgical procedures that we have performed. What we have done is we actually compare the incision site mark with or without the use of HoloLens. It's actually differed by one rib space, and using the HoloLens, we find that it is the incision is more appropriate. And so, in conclusion, the use of mixed reality devices in the minimally invasive cardiac surgical procedures can improve pre-operative surgical planning, understanding the anatomical relationship. It can also be used in the intraoperative real-time guidance, can maintain surgeon line in sight, and with the potential to improve surgical precision, providing more appropriate and accurate site of entry, and therefore decreasing the operating time and ultimately improving the surgical safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for a superb talk. I'm wondering if we could ask you some questions. Okay.
Thank you for excellent presentation and application of the AR. So my question is still, the limitation of using AR is that the accuracy. So in your surgery, how do you align the imaging and also patient?
So what we do is, if you look back the history, look at the video, what we do, we pinch the image that we can hold onto through the visor, and we can actually superimpose. We use a few landmarks on the body. The first landmark is the suprasternal notch, and second is the xiphoid sternum. So once you fix it, and also the clavicles. So once you align and fix it, and it's exactly what it is on the reconstructed image, we can just assume that the image that is reconstructed are the exact replica of the patient's anatomy.
Thank you. I have another question, if that's okay, Professor. In terms of translating the impact of this, not just for surgical time, but for other metrics, have you explored that?
I mean, this is still a pilot project. We have done only maybe, I've actually put up 3 cases. We have done maybe about 6 altogether. Especially, I mean, I am a congenital cardiac surgeon, and I do all the congenital cardiac surgery. And from what I can find, I've been using this for the minimally invasive pulmonary valve replacement via the left anterior small thoracotomy through the second space. I use the MRI, cardiac MRI, as a landmark to locate the position of the pulmonary valve annulus. And knowing that, I will enter with the knowledge of the cardiac MRI. So I find it when I enter, and sometimes I don't actually see pulmonary valve annulus when I actually use the mental reconstruction, even despite going through with the radiologist. So with the use of the HoloLens, and if you fix it properly, and when I actually make an incision, and the pulmonary valve annulus is just bang on, it's directly underneath. So it makes the surgery much easier and less challenging, and it definitely decreased the operating time. I mean, apart from that, I mean, that question was, I presented this paper in a previous ASCVDS meeting. The question asked was, do we have, is there any other advantage, or can we use it apart from locating the incision site? I mean, to date, I don't have the answer to that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again for an illuminating talk. Okay, so we're now moving on to 2 recorded presentations, the first of which is from Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. I'd like to welcome...
Hello and welcome to Manchester. My name's Indi Banerjee. I'm the Associate Medical Director for Research and Innovation. I work at the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital with my colleague Professor Ralph McKinnon. And I'll be taking you through digital technologies, a glimpse in children's healthcare in Manchester. We are very fortunate to have a large health campus which is made up of Manchester Science Park, the University of Manchester, and the hospitals. The yellow region in the front is the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. In the city region of Greater Manchester, there is a significant desire to develop a fast-growing digital ecosystem, and that comes from the top man, Mr. Andy Burnham, who is the Mayor of Greater Manchester. We're also very fortunate to have at our doorstep Health Innovation Manchester, which is the connection between academia and the hospitals, and the principle is to discover develop and deploy new innovations into local health and social care systems, and this very much pertains to the digital space. We have not only our Manchester University Hospitals, which is a conglomeration of many hospitals across Greater Manchester, but also Salford Royal and Christie Hospitals, which are themselves digital leaders. And importantly, we have at our doorstep these universities which are also committed to a digital healthcare enterprise. This is Manchester Metropolitan University, the Salford University and the University of Bolton, in addition to the University of Manchester. At the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital, where we work, we are already committed and have a number of digital activities, but we have taken the one step further to develop a kids DigiLab concept. At present, this is a community of practice where we discuss ideas, share our experience, bring in industry to foster partnerships. Importantly, we want to develop innovation into research and vice versa. And this Kids DigiLab sits under a formal committee called Children's Research Technology and Innovation Committee. We have a number of projects through Kids DigiLabs, and this is an example of extended reality projects led by Professor Ralph McKinnon. And here is our Chief Executive, Mr. Stephen Dixon, who is having a go at virtual reality cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and also, importantly, leading the path to a brighter digital future. So thank you for listening. I have put our email addresses on screen for future interest. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Indy. And of course, if you have any questions, I may well be able to answer those. Okay, so we'll now move roughly 45 minutes away down the motorway from where I'm based in Manchester to the other huge city, which is Liverpool. Those of you that are football fans are probably aware of those two cities, and if you like music as well. So if we can now have the video from Alder Hey Children's Hospital, that would be wonderful.
Oh, hi there, my name is Ian Hennessy. I am the Clinical Director here at Alder Hey Children's Hospital of Innovation. I also get to be one of the paediatric surgeons, which is a great job in itself. Now, here at Alder Hey, we are all about what's next. What can we do to make the lives of the children better who are treated at our hospital? And one of the big areas of technology is extended reality, is mixed reality, is how can we take something which isn't really there and make it real for our children? Now, the applications of this are enormous. We have used virtual reality headsets to try and distract children while they're having painful procedures. We have used augmented reality headsets to give children at home a tour of the hospital before they even arrive here. We're even using it with our surgeons so that they can see the anatomy, see the tumours, see what they're going to be operating on before it actually happens. So they can practice and collaborate and think about how they're going to be attacking it. There are lots and lots of different applications of extended reality, and really the only thing which limits us is our imagination, from creating worlds that they can explore right down to the ability to recreate exact anatomy and mimic how it will function in the future. The use of extended reality is enormous. So I hope you enjoy this video.
Hi, I'm Anusha Hanadige, a maxillofacial and craniofacial surgeon at Alder Hey Children's Hospital. Now, the craniofacial team in Alder Hey are one of 5 super-regional centres in the UK. We are one of the highest volume and largest craniofacial centres in the world. We have a dedicated, large, multidisciplinary team of healthcare professionals, physicians and surgeons who deliver a holistic package of care to the children in and around the UK. And it's the rarity of the craniofacial conditions combined with the high volume workload that we do at Alder Hey, which attracts a lot of visitors to Alder Hey. we have visitors from all over the UK and internationally. And we're passionate about knowledge sharing, education and training. However, in the current climate of pandemics and an increasing awareness of how multiple flights and international travel has on the impact of the environment and climate, we need to find other ways to knowledge share, educate and train, which is why Virtual Hospitals and the Smart Hospital Alliance provides us with that platform and a new dimension to continue doing the good work that we do and to allow that opportunity for knowledge sharing. Now, fellows, trainees and consultants from all over the globe can dip into our multidisciplinary clinics, which are important avenues where decisions are being made, where they can dip into our surgical planning, 3D planning, VSP sessions, virtual sessions prior to any operations that are being conducted. And very importantly, they can dip into the operating theatre itself and have a surgeon's view of the operation. Now, those of us who have visited other units can testify that nothing beats being there firsthand. But when it comes to a specialty like craniofacial surgery, where some procedures are so advanced, complex and rare to perform, possibly once or twice a year, there are only a handful of trainees or fellows or surgeons who can actually benefit from being there physically to witness the entire procedure. With a platform like Virtual Hospitals, you can benefit this to over hundreds, possibly thousands of trainees, fellows, surgeons, healthcare professionals across the globe without them ever having to enter Alder Hey Children's Hospital. This allows for a multi-way partnerships, as not only do these trainees, fellows and surgeons and healthcare professionals benefit from learning and knowledge sharing with Alder Hey, but we too could dip into their theatres, their clinics, their multidisciplinary settings to gain knowledge and share through education and learning. So Virtual Hospitals and the Smart Hospital Alliance will allow Alder Hey to participate in fostering greater understanding within the craniofacial community and ensuring that we are providing the best, safest and most innovative techniques within craniofacial surgery to our craniofacial patients. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to greater partnerships with Virtual Hospitals and Health and Cloud.
It's good to see that the technology are coming along really nicely to the point where we can have it used to educate the patients. The traditional way would be we go through the stages of the operation, we show them some of the medical scans, a lot of information overload. Now with VR, reconstruct the model, they see the heart structure in greater details. You don't actually need to speak a lot, it just makes sense, and VR offers that.
So I hope you've enjoyed this video and seen some of the work we've been doing on extended reality here at Alder Hey Children's Hospital. And if you've got any questions, we're always happy to answer them.
Thank you, Alder Hey. Very happy to attempt to answer any questions on that. Hopefully this initial session has really painted a picture of exactly how we can use technology to really leverage and remove some of the disparities in healthcare.
Welcome back. So, my name is Todd Chang. I spoke earlier, but we're going to section 2. We've heard from a lot of the institutions, the universities, the physicians, and the clinicians. And now it's time to look at the technology side from different companies and corporations, even some startups coming up soon. So we have 6 presentations for you today from section 2, and we'll get right down to it. So first up is from Lotte Data Communication. They've provided us with a very nice pre-recorded video, and we'll start that pretty shortly.
Hello everyone, I'm Won-jong Lee, who is in charge of Metaverse business in Lotte Data Communication Company. Firstly, thank you for giving me time to introduce Lotte Metaverse in this forum. I hope all of you have a great time to understand what the Metaverse is and how it is development and is going to change our life. From now on, I will tell you about the vision of Lotte Metaverse platform that will change our lives. The vision of Lotte Group is lifetime value creator, which means providing new experience and values to human life. In real world, Lotte Group provides various offline services to people, and people will enjoy about realistic services. In virtual world that they never experienced before, those will be strongly connected, and it will make the better life to human being in the near future. In order to understand the metaverse that will be closely linked to our lives, we need to think about the concept of Web3. The Web 1 and 2 are not much different. The only difference is whether it is centralized or decentralized. Then, what will be changed in Web 3? Service model and economic activities will be changed. The keyword is P2E, P2C, UGC. In Web 3, the Metaverse will be core platform, which P2E, P2C, and UGC are activated. Users create content within the platform, and they can transact those based on decentralized system. In the end, Metaverse is as the post-fourth industrial revolution, and it will change our lives and everything. From now, I want to share my ideas regarding stage of Metaverse, and to inform where Lotte will be positioned in Metaverse business. I think currently major Metaverse platforms are focused on 2D graphic-based community, PR, or playing games. Those are weakly connected to real business world and are mainly concentrated on marketing areas. First, Lotte wants to be positioned in strongly connected to real world like the movie Ready Player One, even Metaverse world. Users would feel that objects and human look like almost the same quality in real. To encourage the customers to purchase expensive products in online, Metaverse service must be provided with hyper-reality products that are the same as offline. When this happens, the purchase patterns of our life will be changed. Second, there should be a sense of immersion when avatars and users can communicate in real time in cyberspace. Economic activities with the real world can be linked, and the users will be able to experience a more immersive service. To this end, we acquired Calibers in 2021 and are developing Metaverse platform. Calibers has global top-tier VR shooting and graphic composition technologies, along with real-time rendering technologies, which can make notices even though viewpoint changes while wearing VR HMD. In addition, we have a pattern that user can interact with the object in VR by eyes, chat, and touch. Furthermore, reality VR contents are normally high capacity, but we can dramatically reduce content capacity to run efficiently in VR, HMD, and other devices. Based on those core technologies, we can design and produce a very realistic and immersive metaverse content. In terms of reference, as you can see, long-running drama, a motor shopper supercar Lamborghini, two-way communication VR shooting, K-pop contents, and so on. Currently, we are building on hyper-realistic metaverse platform like the movie Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg. From now on, we will take the time to demonstrate a part of Lotte Metaverse platform that we are developing. That is demonstrated in CES 2023 in January this year. You can see the luxury buildings which you want to live in. It looks like a real house. You can see the new type of shopping experience by personal shopping advisor. It is combined real person and virtual environment.
Some chemicals tarnishing the ingredients and eliminate the smell as well.
Next, Lotte Duty Free. The virtual fitting room, users can select the clothes, shoes, bags, what they want, and can check how it looks like as digital human put on instant. That is 7-Eleven Tema Park. You can buy digital items. I think hyper-reality content can be applicable in healthcare industries. I hope you have continually interested in Lotte Metaverse. Thank you for inviting and giving me a time, and have a great time.
Thank you very much. That's from Lotte Data Communication, Mr. Wonjong Lee. I'm going to turn the microphone to, from T-Systems, Mr. Timothy Kim. You want to come on up?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Timothy Kim. I'm from T-Systems Singapore. Thank you so much for the time today. And it's been very impactful and compact and short to the point and very fruitful in a session-wise, right? So hopefully, today we'll be talking about how the health on cloud has been helpful in terms of the T-System perspective, how we are pitching in terms of the market for the T-System to go to market with the health on cloud solution. Yeah. Before getting into the details, for those who does not know T-System, in the big context sense, if you probably more familiar with T-Mobile in a way. Yeah. So Deutsche Telekom, we're part of Deutsche Telekom Group. So we are the IT arm for the Deutsche Telekom Group. So in Singapore context point of view, Singtel will be the Deutsche Telekom, right? And the NCS will be the SI arm, right? So we'll be the sort of the SI from the Singapore context point of view. Yeah. So we are actually one of the top 20 brand recognized in the world, so as far as T-System concerned, and then bit of healthcare footprint within the healthcare for T-System concerned. Of course, obviously, we are very strong in the German market, and we are obviously very strong in the American markets, right? North America and South. And then we are expanding to grow in the Southeast market and Middle East, etc. Yeah. Before we get into the next step, while we are in the current market that we are now, yeah, bit of the context in terms of the Asia market. As you guys know, it's not new news. Overall context of the Asia market combined is actually a much bigger market than the whole of the US and the Euro market combined, right? So this is the up and coming growing market, continue to be so.
And this is actually, as a part of the overall investments concern, I mean, we are only, in this part of the world, it's only spending about 3% of GDP of the overall healthcare versus the advanced nations or the more of the US market is spending about 12% of GDP. So there's a lot more funding, a lot more infrastructure, there's a lot more things getting invested into the market. One of the reason why we're currently focusing on the getting into the market for Southeast Asia is that there's a lot more new initiatives, right? And there's been new initiatives in the way of there's now, after the COVID especially, there's new mandates for all the requirements for the EMR, HIS requirements, et cetera, to be in the market for Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, as such, right? And continue to be, there's more room to grow. Only about 60 to 8% is only utilizing the hospital information system, et cetera. Hence, we are trying to penetrate the market. And one of the solutions that we're bringing in is that not only we are bringing we're bringing the healthcare suite that actually address the end-to-end, right, in terms of the acute care all the way to the aged care and the home care, et cetera. And then how we're different in terms of the thesis concern. Not only we have the portfolio of the healthcare solution, we are actually bringing the whole digital transformation journey to the market, right? So what it means is that we are working with such company as Health on Cloud, provide the extra additional things to bring in the transformation journey, right? I'll talk a bit more about that. Of course, and we work with all the vendors in terms of the SAP, AWS, et cetera, to provide the infrastructure, et cetera, to work with those the Southeast Asian market. Okay. Quickly, in terms of how we are working with Health on Cloud, we realized quickly that providing the solution and the best of breed IT product is not the only way to address the current needs in the Southeast Asian market, right? It does not really address the overall needs for the clinical practice. Their hunger to learn, their hunger to be the best practice in a way. Yeah. So those solutions that we have really didn't address the overall market in terms of the providing the necessary best of practice, best of approach, the learning needs as such, right, to be going to the market. So one of the key differentiator that we are actually going to market and we're providing is that we're using the Health on Cloud to provide the necessary means of the educating the nurses, training the doctors, and especially for medical alliance in a way to provide all the connection that's necessary. So, for example, we are dealing with the hospital in Indonesia, right? They're Greenfield Hospital. They are looking for solution, but actually what they're really needing is the whole aspects of the alliance as well. So they want to do the medical tourism. They want to make sure we have a connection to the right doctors and then second market, et cetera. Because as you know, the Southeast Asian market, a lot of the underdeveloped countries are looking for the better service of care. And a lot of times, let's say, for instance, Myanmar, they'll fly the people here in Singapore to get a treatment, et cetera. So through these sort of services, actually, they can retain their customers within their own countries. Yeah. And then for the T-System concern, as a part of solution-wise, we are providing all the necessary means of the not only IT solution, but necessary of networks, educations, those things to provide additional things for them to equip themselves to be the better practicing hospital in this region. Yeah. So far, in terms of I've been with this company for about 6 months to 8 months plus. Every customers we've been talking to, Ministry of Health we've been talking to, this has been a very effective way to open the talk beyond just the IT solutions concern. Yeah. So this has been the key things as a part of my pitch to go to the market solution-wise, and that's been one of the things that actually opened the topics with the doctors and nurses, right? Not just the IT people. So this has been a key driver that we are working with Health on Cloud to go to market, and they are, as a partner and as a key differentiator as a T-System go-to-market strategy for the overall Southeast Asian market. Okay, thank you. Those are very short and brief and straight to the point, hopefully. Yeah.
So I didn't see any other questions, so thank you very much. That was Mr. Timothy Kim from T-Systems. All right. And coming up are some videos. We have somebody from Kakao Healthcare up in South Korea, Young Kyung Kang, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about Kakao Healthcare and how that goes well with our technology metaverse.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me as IHMC honorable speaker today. The title of my talk is Together, which means together people within the metaverse and living in the metaverse together. Using digital technology, Kakao Healthcare intends to improve the nation's health. Comprehensive digital medical service which provide innovative, evidence-based health services for prevention and coordination for healthy people and patients using digital technology is unlimited by time and space through metaverse technology. Kakao Healthcare is a proven platform company that provides new digital healthcare services and content to customers. Kakao Healthcare pursues shared growth and global advancement through collaboration with domestic healthcare partners and our mission. As an expert in rehabilitation medicine with extensive experience in planning, establishing, and validating various new tech-based digital healthcare services for public health management, I would use that experience to build a successful convergence model for metaverse healthcare services. With the COVID-19 pandemic experience and the development of crucial element technologies of metaverse, such as 5D, VR, and AR, the future potential of metaverse is being highlighted. The growth of related markets and new types of platforms and services are supported by global policy to foster the metaverse industry. The healthcare field is also expected to create various values by introducing metaverse technology. Still, most current healthcare metaverse platforms and services aim to educate medical staff and patients and support collaboration between medical staff. Until now, no great healthcare platforms and services for individualized management or coordination exist. Our collaborator, Calaverse, is a platform company with several public metaverse services. Moreover, Calaverse is expanding its metaverse business through the Kakao community regarding cooperation as a team. With their technology, Calaverse produced the metaverse part of the digital platform Wave for Busan's 2030 Expo candidacy presentation. As a team, we can add a 3D metaverse service channel to existing services to maximize user flow and support the build-up function to create avatars, space, and communities by users. There are 4 significant advantages to web-based metaverse platform. First, it is easy to access and connect to other services without installation. Second, it serves high-quality graphics without regarding the spec of user's device. Third, browsing metaverse and services without barriers makes seamless user experiences. Finally, services can integrate their content into the metaverse platform according to their needs and purpose. We will contribute to overcoming the limitations of non-face-to-face meetings through high-quality VR using state-of-the-art AI and Metaverse technology. For interpersonal non-face-to-face interaction within a Metaverse environment, AI-based non-verbal expression using AI facial and gesture retargeting technology would be used in our services. The requirements for the healthcare Metaverse platform for providing healthcare services to general users are: first, security, so that users can use it conveniently and safely. Second, plug and play connect various healthcare services for the expansion. And finally, a self-sustainable revenue model should be provided. We have a platform framework based on a proven industry standards, such as user authentication, authority management, consent system for using personal information, standard security guidelines, and international standard information and medical information protection management system. Kakao Healthcare develops HL7 FHIR standard-based data linkage protocol for data exchange with various wearable devices and systems. HL7 FHIR-based data interoperability makes PGHD exchange by how wearable devices and Metaverse platforms are based on international healthcare data exchange protocols. When entering the Metaverse space, AI, real-time expression, and gesture retargeting technology is applied to perform non-verbal communication, in which the avatar's expression reflects the person's status. While personal information is protected, the user can talk one-to-one with the provider. In the professional customized content service area, various content are provided through the WordPad, which can be switched to full screen regardless of the device. Taking a step forward from digital healthcare, the Metaverse healthcare platform that enables immersive content and social interaction is a new paradigm for healthcare. In this transformation, we will do our best to gather a chance to take root together by utilizing our safe, stable, professional capabilities and global networks. Kakao Healthcare seeks to lay the foundation for the future healthcare metaverse industry, achieve sustainable mutual growth together by gathering various participants in the platform together. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much to Young Kyung Kang. She's representing Kakao Healthcare. And up next, a little change in our schedule. We have June S. Park, and he's going to talk about medical IP.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sang-Jun Park from Medical IP. What I'd like to talk about today is medical digital twin. I disclose my career here. I believe even 100 years ago, Metaverse tech was dreamed of treating patients by medical doctors like this figure.
Every day, hundreds of Amazon facilities.
Amazon, which has a huge warehouse, has created a virtual digital twin warehouse by using NVIDIA's Omniverse Metaverse platform 2 years ago. In terms of improving the efficiency of inventory management, human resource allocation, and resource management. In this way, digital twin can be applied to various industries. Also, digital twin can meet their medical.
Let's take a look at how NVIDIA Omniverse is.
Although the stability and scalability, especially in medical domain, the existing artificial intelligence is limited to replace human knowledge and labor. But digital twin AI tech can be used to expand the multi-dimension and be used for various purposes. I said AI is very important in digital twin tech. I believe that this medical digital twin will have a big impact on the future medical ecosystem as follows. Diagnosis, treatment decision support, patient monitoring, and surgery simulation, and drug development and discovery, also response, and medical device design and optimization. From medical IP, our FDA and CE approved MediPro provides around 100 AI-based 3D segmentation. Medical IP provides a state-of-the-art vertically integrated pipeline from segmentation to a high-throughput multimodal materialization of medical images. Let's take a look at our team's MediPro demonstration video. Just click one button, the AI, detect, and segment whole body information like this. The color cyan represents skin, the green indicates muscle, pink means bone, vessel, and others. Based on AI segmentation, we can link to AR tech, and last year, February of 2022, our team obtained approval for Korean first AR-based navigation system as a medical device class 2. NVIDIA created Omniverse, a digital twin platform that utilizes Disney Pixar animation 3D file format. For the past 2 years, we have been working on a medical digital twin project with NVIDIA, which has recently been completed and is being distributed worldwide. This is the medical digital twin pipeline from NVIDIA and medical IP. So we can connect to various Metaverse tech such as AR and VR. Individual user can download Omniverse for free from NVIDIA's website, and for medical digital twin, you can use it by clicking the Medip AI button. Now, I'd like to share one practical use case of this wonderful digital twin tech. This figure represents a 6-day-old baby who has a coarctation of the aorta. So the AI separate and segment the inside of the human anatomy from skin, bone, lung, ventricle, and pulmonary vessels. Our team's Medip make a synchronization with NVIDIA Omniverse. The AI result, the segmentation result, can be transferred to the Omniverse like this, and then make Pixar animation level visualization here. So whole procedure take within few seconds, so we can obtain like this wonderful 3D result. The procedure is very simple, from CT images, segmentation, and mesh CAD/CAM design, and ray tracing based 3D result. Yes, a series of ray tracing 3D images realistically visualize how the coarctation of the aorta is surrounded by the lung, airway, pulmonary vessel, and heart underneath the skin and bony thorax. Our case implies that any structural abnormalities shown on CT images can be twinned in Omniverse. This is also the movie. So we can apply the blood flow simulation to the heart, although it is not perfect at this current stage, but we were able to make various attempts for digital twin. This is another digital twin tech, MDBurgs. Is a product that can dissect more than 6,000 human anatomy that compared with the actual cadaver and CT images. So MDBurgs allow multiple people can dive into this same virtual space and connect each other same time wearing VR glasses. This is an anatomy class with cadaver and MD Barks at Seoul National University College of Medicine in Korea. We are gradually extending this technology to actual patient case, the digital twin. According to our research 2 years ago, with the aid of preoperative planning, the 3D printing with 3D printing model, intradural drilling and aneurysm clipping were determined. 3D printed model were very helpful preoperatively in choosing the proper clips and anticipating the direction of clip application. However, using medical digital twin tech, we can make a preoperative planning immersively and try more and various attempts. We can put on VR and AR glasses and de-strip the human perspective to bring out new interpretations. I believe this is the strength of the digital twin and the direction where we have to go. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Park Jun. This is medical IP, very impressive. We're now going to move to an online Zoom presentation from Jeremy Carter, Centira XR. Let's first see if we can pop you up on the screen. Hi there, we see you. Can you speak?
Yes, hi everybody. Hey. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much for arriving. So if you can introduce yourself as Centira XR, and you're on.
Great, thank you so much. Just going to share my screen. And yeah, just want to say thank you to the conference organizers for inviting us to present today. My name is Jeremy Carter, and I'm the CEO of a company called Centira. And we are a spin out from the University of Manchester in the UK. We were founded by Dr. Tony Payton and Dr. Martin Fergie, and we combine the power of virtual reality and artificial intelligence to unblock medical education training. So why are we doing this? So I thought I'd start with a number, which is 10 million, and that represents the projected shortfall of health workers. So this is a huge, by 2030, this is a huge global problem that we're all aware of, and it's one that affects everybody because healthcare is a universal need. And there's a huge movement to try and address this. But there are some very unique challenges that are associated with it. The first of those being education, because we're governments and training institutions around the world are trying to get more qualified people into the workforce, but they're trying to do that with an existing infrastructure that is already under pressure. And there are other challenges associated with that, getting people into healthcare globally. We know that the provision of healthcare isn't equal. So getting people in different parts of the world into the healthcare industry, keeping them there, training them, being able to provide them with CPD opportunities and keeping them within the workplace, and ensuring obviously that all of those healthcare workers maintain the care standards and improve them as well. And because of these things are challenging, we need to look at technology to solve some of those, and that's where we come in. So our solution effectively enables the use of headsets or mobile devices. So that means that we can deploy training, very specific training that is highly needed on a 24/7, 365 basis, and provide those people with repeatable learning experiences. So this isn't just a one-off exposure and an opportunity to try something. They get to repeat that, and we all know that we learn very well through practice. So this means that we can deploy at scale, and we can start to get the relevant training and learning and assessment into into the workforce and into the student population at a much larger scale than has been previously able to. And because the way that we do this, we also get a whole raft of data, which enables us as teachers, as lecturers, as students, to get analytical data on performance, where students are, where professionals are in their learning journey, and understand their strong points, their weak points, and guide them on their learning journey. And we do this through a number of things. So first of all, the aesthetics of our simulations, they're designed to evoke a sense of presence. So people very quickly, when they're in a simulation, feel that they are interacting with a patient as they would in real life. And we can also simulate and replicate stress-inducing situations, but in a safe environment. So there's no patient safety issues. And ultimately, what this does is it provides a psychologically authentic user experience for those people who are using or are in our simulations. And I'm going to show you a short video that's going to just give you a flavor of how we do this.
Hello, how can I help today? Thank you for coming to see us. I'm really worried about my daughter. What's your baby called? How old is she?
So you can see here, we've got a natural conversation happening between a healthcare worker and a mother of a baby who's had a tracheostomy. They're coming into the hospital, they're worried, and actually they end up in an emergency situation. And our simulations allow you to replicate that situation exactly, use all of the equipment that you would find in that particular scenario, and also track the user, how they resolve that situation. Do they do things in the correct order? And we provide them with feedback on that. So the benefits of using solutions like this are many. So as I said, we're trying to get this solution out to many people. So for those who are in the teaching staff, we remove the need for having to repeat training time and time again to get through the cohort of students. And they get improved insights into how their students are performing. For the students themselves, they get access to those repeatable learning experiences. They get immediate performance-related feedback as well. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is put better trained professionals and more of them into the healthcare industry so that we can reduce diagnostic errors and improve patient safety and care. We are very innovative in our approach, and we're delighted that we're actually working on a project that's sponsored by the Innovate UK and also the Korea Institute for Advancements of Technology. And our partners in this are Health and Cloud and Tetra Signum. We are about 6 months into this project now, and we're building 3 nursing simulations. So first of all, so for nurse practitioners who are looking at situations, understanding what drugs to administer and actually administering those drugs. So we've got one where there's an inhalation route, so the patient has asthma. Secondly is an IV drug, dispensing the drug via IV. And the third one is orally with a patient who has a mental health issue. And what we do with that is that we're helping to, and I think the name of the project's really key here, unblocking pharmacology training for nurses. So this is speaks to everything I've talked about is getting that access into the nursing community of that training. And what we do is obviously they talk to the patient. They decide on the drug to administer, they administer the drug. And then once they've done that, we go into active 3D animations that actually show the impact of the drug on the human body at a molecular and cellular level. So we've got a strong AI component because what they're doing as well as that is they're practicing their communication skills with the patients. So that's a 2-year project. As I say, we're 6 months into that. We're very excited to be working with the teams on that. So what's next for Sentira? So we've completed our initial round of funding. We're using that to build out our tech stack and our content library. We're in discussions with potential clients, partners, and investors. And we're delighted that we work with Health and Cloud and Tetrasignum on that. Thank you very much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks, Jeremy. Since you're live, if you wanted to leave your contact information up, I'll ask the live audience if there's any questions for Jeremy and Sentira XR. Yep.
Nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Actually, why don't you come on up here so you can actually see you?
Hey, nice to see you again. I have a question regarding natural language processing. So, I mean, already there are a lot of, VR simulated contents out there. But having your natural language processing, how does it really help to make this simulated content more immersive? So can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thanks for that. So a lot of VR content doesn't have that level of realism where you actually how you would interact with a patient in real life if they were there in front of you. We don't have the opportunity when we're speaking to a patient to get a drop-down menu that gives us options about what to say to them next. So we don't. It's very difficult to replicate that authenticity, and that's what we really focus on. So what we do is we choose areas that are difficult to train, at scale, because they involve having to have those conversations with patients. So patient history taking, clinical reasoning skills, how you actually speak to a patient is directly related to the information that you will get from them. So if you don't follow the correct methodologies of asking questions, you're not going to get the right information that's going to ultimately allow you to help that patient in the way that you need to. And that has an impact on patient outcomes. And so that's why we deliberately went down the road of taking on that very difficult challenge of being able to put our users into a situation where very quickly they empathize with the patient that's in front of them, and they will have a conversation that they would have if they were face to face with a person. And we all of our trials that we've gone through found that people within literally the first few seconds of being in the simulation and interacting with them forget that they're actually in a VR simulation and feel that they're talking to a human.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time for this early morning.
Not a problem at all. Delighted to be here.
Great. So we're going to round out section 2. Oh.
Is the content also going to be available?
Oh. Jeremy, did you hear that? We have a question.
No, sorry, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat the question?
The contents that you guys are working on is also part of the Health on the Cloud. We share it.
Yeah. So certainly, the nursing applications that I talked about, absolutely, we're working directly in partnership with Health on Cloud. But clearly, all of the content that we produce, we want to make available through the Health on Cloud platform. So that would be available to all of the users of Health on Cloud.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much. All right. No so I'm going to invite for Tetrasignum Mike Downing to talk quite a bit about his company.
Okay. Wouldn't go. A little.
Go to the next slide and the previous slide.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for showing up today. And you're going to see a lot of companies that are connected. And there's a lot of people involved because to do what we're doing takes a lot of people. And a lot of different organizations and conferences and things, so to make sense. So This company I'm going to introduce, this is Tetra Signum, and you could say this is the company that kind of started a lot of this and kind of got us going primarily. So our vision is that by harnessing the potential of XR, we can tap into infinite possibilities to deliver healthcare solutions for diagnosis, treatment, education, and prevention. Our mission is to enhance people's well-being by developing and providing the finest technology. Tetra Signum is an innovative company at the forefront of medical technology. With our combined expertise, we are dedicated to creating groundbreaking solutions that push the limits of medical progress and bring about a transformative revolution in healthcare. The company's founder and CEO, as you all may know, is Dr. Sang-Hyun Jung, a highly esteemed thoracic surgeon boasting an impressive clinical experience spanning over 35 years. Currently, he holds the esteemed position as the president of the Asian Society for Cardiovascular and Thoracic Surgery, which has gifted him an extensive network of friends and colleagues. So first up, I guess, again, that kind of started a lot we're doing. I'll go into CPR education. So as some of you may not know, starting in 2018, it became mandatory that a lot of high schools provide CPR education in the US because everyone should know how to save a life. This also carried over into 2020 in the UK, where, again, they're making sure that people can perform first aid and CPR because you never know when something might happen. However, this hits home in Korea, where we're based out of South Korea. Essentially, no program like this was introduced, which kind of sparked what we're doing and what we want to do. So we're trying to drive that initiative and push things forward. This is a little video to explain what I'm saying. So from here, this is the CBS unit where everything is immersive. Essentially, you have a CPR mannequin with embedded sensors that feeds into a VR program that allows you to get real-time feedback. So you can answer questions like, am I pushing hard enough? Will I give enough breath? How do I do this? Typically in CPR, myself personally, when I took a course, some people pass just because they're doing the motions. I don't know if I want that person saving my life if I drop down. So we're trying to change that. We're trying to level out the field. And by creating this scenario, we want to build muscle memory so people can react when they need to and just build confidence, essentially, so they can go out. Here you can see from the captures here how it goes through. Now, this has been a few years in projects. We've actually clinically tried it at LA Children's Hospital in Seoul, Singapore, and the UK. But we aim to bring it a little bit further. So how do we do that? So these units here with CBS Premium and Meta CPR, they're quite expensive, and they kind of got it going. But luckily, technology is advancing quite a bit. And so to do that, we are doing the CBS Mass and the CBS non-VR for those to make it more pickable and affordable and easier to ship and have it mass so everyone can learn to do CPR. It's very important. Here are some captures of how we see CPR education in the future. Picture this being a high school, and all the students are learning in real time, but there's a leaderboard, so they can actually have a little competition amongst themselves and drive it, because everyone loves games. So if you can make it a game and make it a bit more fun than a traditional setup, you might get them to actually interact and enjoy what they're doing. So it's taken a process, but we're getting ready for this year to actually roll this out. Ideally, a lot of this technology didn't exist, and it's hard to create it happening. But luckily, especially since COVID, this kind of technology is advancing, and things are really moving rapidly. So we're trying to be at the forefront of that. So by the end of the year, our goal is exactly what I just said. It's a high school project with support from the UK, from LA Children's Hospital, Singapore, and expanded to other countries such as Spain, Slovenia, and other countries we're reaching out. We want to create a high school initiative where they can kind of compete globally and have this competition going. Competition helps, but it's a friendly competition and it's worthwhile, as we all could imagine. The next thing I'm going to jump into is related to what Jeremy had showcased earlier. So as we know, there's a shortage of nurses worldwide, and training is really difficult. If you have a shortage, it means you have overworked people, and the last thing they want to do is teach, or they don't have time to teach. So you have people coming, they've just finished, I guess, fresh out of college, they're there, and all the staff are really tired, and they want programs to kind of refresh things and understand how they're doing. So simulations are a great example of how to do that. So, and this is also an example of the Smart Hospital Alliance that you might have seen earlier. So this kind of initiated this. So Asan Medical Center, which is one of the biggest and best hospitals in Korea, owned by the Hyundai Group, we partnered with them to create sepsis management. This is an immersive program where essentially you can go through the entire process quickly and easily to build up the memory and understand what you're going to do. Right now the prototype is in Korean because obviously we're working in Korea, but we'll adapt this to other languages and we want to basically grow this out. We're also not trying to make all this content by ourselves because it's quite difficult and it's a lot of money and time and technology. So we're relying on a lot of partnerships, hence the Smart Hospital Alliance, what you may have seen earlier. But in this example, this carries over to what we're doing for the big picture. So as Jeremy has mentioned, with the gracious support of Innovate UK and Kiat, we are building the platform side of it. So our role is the streaming platform so that not only can this content be available, but we have an ability to work with partners to embed that in our platform and stream it so it can be a global scale. So for example, imagine, as you've seen earlier, you have an instructor from the UK giving a course. They issue tests, they look at 360 videos from a platform that people can see, and then they use these immersive simulations. Now, that value add is huge because you can standardize teachings and you can work together with other people. Instead of everybody trying to reinvent the wheel, you can do it together, so it's a much better wheel and it goes longer. Because too many people try to do things in hospitals and such, and they have trouble with funding, they have trouble getting it out. So our goal with this project is actually to help everybody get out there and help them go there, create an ecosystem, as Timothy mentioned earlier. That's the key to pulling something like this off. And so that's basically the mission and makes sense of a lot of the stuff we've seen today. Thank you.
It's always nice to have continuity of care, so we appreciate the update. So I'll open it up to just the questions for Tetra Signum and Mike Dowding, or anyone else, actually. All right.
I think ideally we'll take a short break and we'll go into the startup.
Sounds like a short break. Sounds great. So thank you to all of us here live as well as online. We're going to be back at Singapore time, 4:10 p.m.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, now you see a new face. It's no more Todd. So I took over for session 3 as the moderator and host. This is Jim here. I'm Jim Lim. Nice to meet everyone. All right. I come from a company called Zoke, Swiss-based company, and we're doing the health practice in Asia itself. So without further ado, I'm actually hosting the session 3, which is about startup pitch, competition, and networking. So we have altogether 9 startups, right, who's going to present today from all over, I wanted to say Asia, but actually I see US, UK, and France. So glad that we have startups all over the world coming to pitch. Right, I believe we have one startup from Singapore locally here in Singapore, right? Welcome, and the rest of you probably I will see you online and pitching online as well. We have 3 judges, all right? Interestingly, we also have a global judge panel, right? One from Singapore, which is myself, hi. And one from Korea, but he lives in Singapore. He's also here, okay, Timothy Kim. And we have one from the United States, Todd, right? So good, we have representation all over the world, okay. So I don't know how much you know about the judging criteria. Let me just kind of read it up, right? So the startup pitch judging criteria, right, we are going to judge you on 5 categories. First one is what we call team, right? Is your team capable of achieving what you have set out to do? Number 2 is market validation, which I think is the most important. Do you have the capacity to recognize and describe the problem that you are trying to solve, and is it applicable to the current market? Right, number 3 is product. Is it innovative? Does it address a market problem? And does it have a functional MVP? So MVP here is not your minimum viable product, unfortunately, right? So it's your market value proposition, right? So this is another key important criteria. Number 4 is business model. Do you have one business model, right? If you're interested, I teach business model canvas in NUS, so feel free to come and enroll in my course. Okay, would it make money and is it scalable? Number 5 is soft skills, which many of the tech companies have forgotten about that, right? Do you have a vision and are you capable of selling it? So these are the 5 judging criteria, and without further ado, maybe we start with the first startup. Each of you have 5 minutes to present and 3 minutes of Q&A. Can I welcome the first one? I think from France, quite early in the morning. Aptero, Cedric. Are you online? Oh, there's a switch, okay. Because I'm looking at this one. So from Korea, new base? Okay, sorry, I'm reading according to the list. So can we have from new base, Korea, Sangyong Park? Okay.
Yeah. Hi.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Okay, come, let's start.
Yes.
Your 5 minutes begins now.
Okay.
No pressure.
Too nervous here. Hello, everyone. I am Sun Young Park, the CEO of Nubase. Nubase is a medical edtech company. We are using digital technology to solve accessibility for practices of medical providers. Medical education with Metaverse requires highly qualified fidelity and various learning coverage at the same time. We solve these problems with medical training platform Medicrew, which provide digital patient technology and medical skills simulation modules and learning management system. Whenever you train, you will always need new patient symptoms. However, developing numerous patient symptoms into characters requires too much resources and cost. We have developed a technology that virtualizes medical data into 3D patient characters by automatically mapping appropriate visual and sound resources. So you can just input your patient data to create new patient characters with this system. First, you can see them, you can make them 17 years old or 100 years old. Also, you can make them grow height and gain or lose weight. Second, you can give them a damage by the type of trauma, severity, and body areas. Finally, you can also change health conditions such as the nervous system, respiratory system, and circulatory system, and so on. Digital patients alone cannot provide sufficient education. You can diagnose and examine digital patients using medical skill simulation modules. You can apply treatment and medication by step procedures with various devices and items found in the hospital to the virtual patient. If you apply an intravenous injection on a patient's vein, you can see blood vessels clearly raised on patient's arms. You will always monitor the patient condition changes, such as vital signs and symptoms, depending on the appropriate or inappropriate treatment. We provide data-based evaluation algorithms to help learners master learning. It supports quantitative learning evaluation, debriefing, and feedback based on data. We have a VR and mobile version and learning management system. The medical VR version supports clinical nursing simulations, allowing users to experience the entire process of patient admission to discharge, which typically takes about 2 weeks in actual clinical settings in less than 20 minutes. Additionally, the medical mobile version facilitates mastery procedures, such as neurological assessment and disaster triage, like that. We have a content-based pricing model. So yearly subscription for each patient case is only $50 per number of class seat. This is very flexible and highly accessible depending on any of institute in the world. We don't spend medical consumables. Just medical can deliver new treatments and technologies to clinical field in a fast and safe way. Also, we save time to make medical staffs ready to use new technology and devices. So we are not ordinary tech company. We are innovators and change makers. We create the best meta hospital to protect the safety and privacy of patients and improve regional and economic healthcare imbalances, provide students with a legal and ethical educational environment. Yeah, play to save lives. This is our slogan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Park, right? Okay, from New Base. So 3 minutes. Any questions from anyone online or on from the ground? Any questions? Go ahead, Todd. Yeah. Okay, mic test.
I can go to the front. So
yeah, you can come here. Yeah. Hi.
Very nice
Hi.
presentation. My name is Todd Chang. I wanted to find out, in terms of marketability, what is your target audience based on NewBase? Do you feel like this particular product is more for schools, institutions, and companies? Or do you feel that it's more of an individual-based where you can actually aggregate between different individuals, people seeking a career in nursing or physicians, but not necessarily tied to an institution?
Our target audience is, target user is nursing students and also nursing academy education. And also our main clients are the new employed nursing education centers in Korea. And now we are preparing for global business. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions from anyone online or over here? Okay.
How many adapted the solution?
Sorry, how many adapted the session or the solutions? It's a subscriber base.
Our clients are Seoul Asan Hospital and Severance hospitals and many of nursing academies in Korea. We have estimated 41 institutes in Korea now.
One institution in Korea, yeah.
41 institutes.
41.
Very
Okay.
fast. We are very fast growing now.
Great. Okay. Any more questions from anyone? There's cash prizes, so not for the people asking the questions. Sorry, for the people who win. Okay. If not, thank you. We move on to the second startups. Yeah, thanks, Ms. Park. So the second okay, thank you. The second startup is from France, Aptero. So the presenter is Cedric. Is Cedric online?
Yes, hi. Hello,
hey,
everybody.
Hi, Cedric. Hold on, we are bringing you to the screen. Okay, great.
Cool.
Okay, you are on. You have 5 minutes to present and 3 minutes of Q&A. Go ahead.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm Cedric. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aptero. So imagine if tomorrow you could create your own medical metaverse space. So not join a new one, but you create yours. So that's what we build with Aptero. So today the world is changing much faster than we are. The global telemedicine market is growing very, very fast, 10 times faster. So in 2030, the market size is estimated to be 500 billion USD. So it's growing very, very fast, and the future will be remote. So healthcare must support remote in the soon future. And that's what we provide. So we made a no-code tool for anyone to create their own virtual healthcare space. So this means as a doctor, as a patient, as a nurse, anybody in the medical sector will be able to make their own space for meditation, healthcare, any type of different experiences following what they want to have. So there will not be 10 or 12 experiences. There will be unlimited amount of experiences because anyone can make them. So for example, here you can see that you can create one virtual space in the hospital. Like you can use our editor to make any 3D models, anything, and any 3D like environment. Then you can add any type of 3D models. Let's say you want to add a medical chart. So you can just drag and drop from your files. So you can find your file in your file explorer, take the medical chart and drop it inside the website. So it's all web-based. So on a simple website, you join your experience that you've made and you add any 3D models that you want to have. So let's say tomorrow you want to create an experience where you have different patients, different doctors in the same space, and you have different PDF, different stethoscopes, different 3D models. You can add anything that same day to show to anyone. And at the same time, you can also create type of digital twins for hospitals. So here you can see a hospital we made in Japan. So you can go inside that space and discover different use cases that hospitals may have. So here, as a patient, you can also see the operation room where you will be maybe in the future. So this tool, it's been developed still today. So we are having POC in Japan with such a satellite age, for example, to provide a virtual clinic for patients to purchase medicine. And in Ochonamizu Research Clinic to provide medical examinations on a higher level. So the team is based on 3 co-founders. I'm Cedric in the middle. Before I had raised $13 million for another company, another startup 5 years ago. And I can speak also 5 languages. I'm French, but I can also speak Chinese, Japanese, English, and Spanish. And Pierre-Henri, our CTO, he made the code for the French passports. So he knows very well the security and he knows how to make this 3D space working. And finally, Christian, he's our COO, and he also co-founded 2 startups before, and he worked as a digital expert at Wavestone in the past. So we are working with multiple hospitals for healthcare use case. So simply put, the 3 main needs that we solve. First, patients want simplicity. So the unique things we provide with our solution is the direct access through mobile direct tool. So in Japan, they use Line. So we are providing it directly inside Line. So within Line, they can use the Metaverse system. Second, doctors need to share surgical methods with their colleagues. So that's also why we have the digital twins of the hospitals, so that they can share the 3D videos, they can do live file sharing, they can share webcams to show how it is being done now in the hospital. And finally, we are also solving the pre-medical examination with optimizing nurse and doctor time by integrating third-party services. So there are services, health tech startups that provide, for example, analysis of the body just with a smartphone. So we integrate this inside the tool, and this will analyze directly the patient from the smartphone. So in the end, all of these experiences are made together with the hospitals and the doctors, and they are making their own space. So in the future, if they want to have 10 other spaces with different immersive experiences, they will be able to make them themselves. So we are doing quite fast. We have other 4,000 spaces made up to today, and we have offices in Paris and now in South Korea since last year. So basically our business model, it's very simple. We are a SaaS model following the size of the uploaded models. So if you upload, the more heavier the file you upload, the more the subscription will be. And our technology is open source, so we do not build proprietary technology. We really focus on open source up to today. So we are also raising our funds, our seed round this year. So pre-seed included Sandbox, and now we are raising 1.5 million this year. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Or from over in Singapore. If not, maybe I start the first question. Who do you view as competitor? Because actually I got exposed to a lot of digital twins, 3D, Metaverse of software and others. So who do you view as a competitor, and how do you think you can compete against them? Yeah.
Yes. Competitors, essentially, we try to make every single university and medical sector use our solution. So we do not provide a key technological differentiation apart than your open source. Where we really want to differentiate ourselves is integration. So we spend a lot of time integrating with Line, as you have seen, in Microsoft Teams. So we integrate directly inside the tool that people use so that it's very accessible. So in one word, the key differentiator we have is accessibility. So they will join with Teams, with Line, with a VR headset, with any type of devices, and using just a simple editor that we have built.
Okay, thank you. Todd or Tim, do you have any questions, or anyone else? Yeah, Prof.
What kind of activity is possible in the metaverse space? So, for example, the space you created, can avatar interact, or like can we share screens, things like that? What's possible in there?
Thank you for the question. Exactly. So everything is possible, even in share screen, discussing with other avatars like doctors, patients, and so on. So discussion, sharing webcams, sharing all type of 3D models. But essentially, the biggest part is that you yourself can create the space, which means you can create your own scenario. So for example, if you want to create a scenario that the patient has to wait in a waiting room, you can make them wait in a space that you have made for meditation. So they will wait by listening to your music, adding to your scenario. They can move and see like the history of your hospital. Then they can move and say something else. And every day it can change because every day you can update your metaverse.
Okay, thank you. Any further question? No, just a interesting question. So metaverse, are they real personality, or is it the other second personality when they are in the metaverse?
That's also a very funny question. So actually, in Japan, why we are also targeting Japan first is because in Japan, they tend to not want to show their face inside. That's also why they want to go inside the metaverse. It's because they are not shy, but they don't really want to show their face to everybody. So when they go inside, they have an avatar, so they can be true to the doctors and they can say anything because the doctor will not see in live the face of the patient.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
thank you.
Thanks, Aptero. Thanks, Cedric. Right. So now let's move on to the third company. It's called MediVR from Singapore, but I don't think he or she is here. Antia Fong, are you online?
Hi.
Hey, hi. Hi. So maybe you give us a good introduction of the company, 5 minutes, and let's start. Yeah.
Sure. Yes, so hi everyone. I'm Andia, co-founder and CEO of MediVR. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like to start by sharing a personal story that inspired my team's journey at MediVR. So it actually begins with a poignant moment during a family member's medical consultation where a simple but blunt statement from the doctor had lasting psychological impacts on the whole family. And this experience made us realize that poor communication in industries can lead to significant consequences. Today, I'm here to present about Interact AI, our solution to address this critical issue. So the cost of poor communications is staggering, and it goes beyond miscommunication, goes beyond the profound psychological impacts. Our experience has taught us that it can lead to trauma, distrust in healthcare professionals, negative patient outcomes, and of course, lower NPS scores as well. However, this problem is actually not just limited to healthcare alone. It extends to the corporate world where it actually costs companies trillions per year. And of course, approximately 33% of medical lawsuits also amounts to $1.7 billion per year. And of course, current trading methods such as role play, hiring of actors, online learning are also logically intensive, expensive, and often fail to scale. And therefore, Interact AI is here to provide as a solution. So our target market is significant. We are looking at the global AI virtual human market projected to reach 527 billion US dollars by 2030. And specifically, we have already gained some interest across healthcare and other sectors like service, hospitality. We do see that once we gain traction and refine our offering, we will expand our operations to neighboring countries and beyond. So today, our AI virtual human has already expanded to several of these industries, and our strong foundation in the medical industry actually positions us well to expand to them. These industries also present unique opportunities for us to support organizations in digitizing training processes and address the stringent compliance and regulation requirements required. Altogether, we have also achieved remarkable metrics, saving 95% of time for role-play learning and empowering individuals to feel 70% more prepared and confident in their skills. So our solution is a game changer. We create lifelike virtual humans for immersive and cost-effective employee training. With Interact AI, we revolutionize training by seamlessly integrating the virtual human creation and analysis such that non-technical professionals can create any scenario themselves in less than a day. And of course, powered by our proprietary generative AI technology, our platform also enables professionals to practice essential communications and interpersonal skills in lifelike conversations. So the results is improved patient and customer interactions, reduced errors, and enhanced outcomes. Our team has actually garnered significant recognition and accolades for our innovative work. We have publications as well as strategic partnerships, and these actually further validate the value of our platform. So behind Interact AI, we have an exceptional team that drives our success. Here are our 4 co-founders who bring a wealth of expertise in technical, business, and operational domains with extensive experience spanning healthcare, immersive reality, AI, as well as technology. And each member of our team is passionate about making a difference and transforming the way we approach training and communication. So in conclusion, Interact AI is at the forefront of revolutionizing the training landscape through our generative AI virtual humans. We offer a powerful and scalable solution that addresses the cost of poor communications, improves interpersonal and interdisciplinary skills, and drives better outcomes across multiple industries beyond medical as well. So we are also fundraising for our seed round this quarter and are happy to have follow-up conversations after the Q&A as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Antia from MediVR. Again, any questions from anyone, online or offline? Oh, everyone is very clear about the business model and everything. I have one question though. Congrats on winning a few of the awards. First of all, is you talk about generative AI. This is one of the hottest topics in all industry, especially healthcare. In fact, there was a report published by BCG just last week, I think, saying that generative AI will be mostly used in actually the healthcare and the medtech industry, right? But and again, communication, we all know, right? No offense to any doctors here. Most of the time, the doctors explain to us in medical terms, and we can't understand what they are talking. Most of the time, okay? But generative AI is supposed to make it into translational and into something that normal human beings who are not medically trained can understand. So is that something that you're looking at in your generative AI, or you're looking at some other areas of using that?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Totally agree together with you about generative AI and its powers, but of course, what we're looking at is the application for across the board. We want to make sure that everybody has the capability of, touching on its power, and therefore, what our team focus on is actually this platform for anybody to very quickly create their own scenarios to high accuracy. So 2 things here. One is easily create, which means very limited data input, but high accuracy such that the AI human does not hallucinate and can give you medically accurate information required for the training.
Thank you. So are you doing the AI triaging, or is it throughout the entire patient journey?
Currently, the team is actually working on the start. So anything from history taking, triaging, we do see that when this further proves effective in organizations and institutions across the world, see its effectiveness. Basically, we can extend beyond.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Todd, go ahead.
Thank you for this succinct presentation. So my question is about assessment and feedback. You have a lot of generative AI to create the best type of conversations, but is there a software-bound platform that allows you to give feedback of how well the conversation went or how well the communication went from the software, or is it meant for an additional instructor, another human, to do that part?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So if I were to just double check on it, it's whether there is feedback and analysis on the platform. The straight answer is yes, there is. So it's a fully integrated end-to-end solution, which means you create, you deploy, you use, like you train with the virtual human, and you immediately get feedback and analytics. It's going to tell you, how well you did. It's able to also say, or show you exactly what you talked to the virtual human about. And of course, we have targeted responses or feedback to see how you can further improve.
Great, thanks. Any more questions from anyone? If not, thank you, MediVR, Antia. Thanks for your presentation. Now let's move on to the next company. It's called DocMe Technologies from UK. And let's welcome...
Next one is Elvis.
Oh, change again. Sorry, a change of the sequence. The next one is from US. Company is called Elvis. And maybe we welcome Jin Yong Lee, the presenter. Hi, Miss Lee. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can. Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Please start. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm in the States here in California, so it's about 1:40 a.m. So very nice to meet you all across the world. This company is called Elvis, and our goal is to digitize neural health. And this is a company that was supported by Stanford Biocenter for Biodesign, StartX, various programs on Stanford campus. And the name Elvis comes from live visualization of brain circuits. So as some of you may be aware, brain health care is a growing concern. So many brain disorders, including neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's disease or autism, neurodevelopmental disorders like autism, are all increasing quite dramatically. It's a really, really big problem, but on top of it, it's dramatically increasing. So in 1970, autism was 1 in 10,000. Now it's about 1 in 36. And so one of the important things to note in this current state is that many governments, not just in industry, governments recognize the importance of addressing brain disorders. But while there are significant advances being made, there is no clear solution to date that is changing the trend of a very steep upslope. And I am an electrical engineer by training, and I have made a very big transition to taking care of brain disorders after I finished my PhD at Stanford, and I am currently a professor at Stanford. And so to solve this problem of brain disorders, we started very early from doing basic science research, which started in around 2008 through various support from government and various other funding agencies. And our goal was to change how we diagnose and treat brain disorders. And so we went all the way from basic science research to brain healthcare in a practical sense. So from my lab at Stanford BioX, we have created basic science technology that is licensed to Elvis, which is leading the digital revolution for brain health. And so one of the main problems that we identified as being needed to solve was that we need to be able to understand how the brain functions in order to treat brain disorders. And so our main goal was to create a digital twin of the brain. And starting from our first publication in 2010, all the way to publications in 2022, we have built technology that allows us to build a digital twin of the brain. And once we had that basic science technology in place, the technology was licensed out to Elvis. And Elvis has now also built a very experienced team of PhDs, MDs, and over 10 years of experience developers. So pretty much everyone in the company is a veteran in what they do. And with this team, the problem that we're solving is generally brain disorders. And one very important angle that needs to be noted in brain disorder space is that the healthcare system can not only not cure any of the disorders, but also the capacity of the healthcare system is not quite there to even do the analog, not effective workflow that is in place. And so there is 1 billion people worldwide with brain disorders. The cost in the United States alone is about $1 trillion. But very importantly, even in an advanced country like the United States, neurologist is 1 per 24,000 people. And so there is not enough access to the doctor. And also because of the analog workflow, the throughput is lower. And of course, the ineffective therapeutic option is there because generally they don't understand the brain disorders. And so now that we can build a digital twin of the brain, instead of the discovery process that we've been failing at overall, we can now design brain healthcare all the way from brain health check to personalized treatments. And so we can build different digital twins on a personal level to do brain health checks individually, to detailed brain disorder diagnosis, and personalized treatment decisions and new therapy development based on these digital twins. And so Elvis has built a solution called NeuroMatch, which is a web-based automated brain network analysis for diagnosis and treatment of brain disorders. We built a scientifically driven platform with AI to do various automation, and now we can build digital twins. The software is also designed based on people-centric design of how the data flows, and we have AI-powered 4D brain modeling that essentially builds a twin that tells you where the issue with each patient is. And this is also being used to create a digital database, which is now what we're using to develop new therapy. So all of these solutions are being built right now, and FDA, KFDA approval is ongoing. And as part of our effort to also take what is FDA approved to Korea for our providing the solution Korea, it's also GMP approved recently. And what we expect this will do is to transform the brain healthcare ecosystem, where we now have a very limited, low throughput analog workflow where we're barely just seeing the patients and maintaining attempt to provide some care to the patients without really making any difference, where the patient population is dramatically increasing. By the solution we built, by design, we can also enable remote care. So you can basically have a physician in the US take care of patients very remotely, even in other countries. And the patients and families can be actively engaged through the platform that we have built. And hospitals, clinics, and private practice can all work together. MDs, nurses, and technologists can also work together in this platform with a very accurate knowledge. This also integrates all the drug design and surgical decisions, for example, and the administration, IT team can also work together, insurance and governments as well. So we can have an integrated and scalable care. And so Elvis is a company that is based in Palo Alto, California. Our goal is to have improved outcome and high throughput cost reduction in care. And we have branches in South Korea, Elvis Korea, Elvis Neuro, and we also have a therapeutic arm now that is developing therapeutics. And our customers are individuals, payers, insurance companies, and healthcare providers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Okay, same thing, open to the floor. Any questions? Brain is one of the most complex organs we have in human body, so no question? Can I just ask what's actually your revenue generating model? I mean, something that's good, but how do you really make money out of that?
Yeah, so our first product is going to be a web-based diagnosis and treatment decision platform that physicians can use. And so this is going to be a subscription model for clinicians, and these are all regulated FDA-approved products. So it's going to be used in a clinical setting first, and then all the other users within the ecosystem will have access based on various needs.
So you'll start from B2B and maybe extend to B2B2C, where the remote care is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Timothy, sorry.
In terms of your current FDA approval process, right? What are you guys looking at to get that awarded or certified?
Oh, we're not supposed to say anything concretely until it's approved, but it's very soon. Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Any presence in outside of the Korea or the U.S.? How about in Singapore and Southeast Asia?
Well, we're starting with US and Korea, but we're also planning to expand quickly into Europe and other Asian countries.
Thank you.
Next question from Todd. Yeah.
There's a question from the fellow Californian. Thank you for staying up this late. With the model that you're doing with live electrical mapping, are you favoring a model towards individualization and personalization that requires each patient to donate their data and as they grow, perhaps change? Or are you favoring the more composite realm where you have almost like crowdsourcing, where you have a large number of very common phenotypes that can be merged to a solution? Because I think the models differ and based on how you go.
That's a great question, and I think the answer is both or neither. So when we talk about the brain disorders, we're looking at common features of the brain that has changed as a result of the disease. And so we are looking at more of the common feature across different patients. At the same time, we are looking at the individual variations from the norm that is common. I hope that makes sense.
Thanks, Ms. Lee. Okay, any more questions? Okay. If not, thank you. I think it's late. Okay, so you may want to take a rest. So now let's, thank you very much. Now let's go to the next company. I think it's My Renal Care from UK, and the presenter is Sashi. Oh, you don't look like. Is it My Renal Care? Yes. Okay, great.
Yes, it is.
Hey, hi.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Hi,
Please start.
I'm Sashi Sangala, Chief Operating Officer of My Renal Care. Really excited to share our groundbreaking new healthcare model with you today. So healthcare providers globally are really struggling with the escalating chronic kidney disease crisis. There are more patients, growing costs, and simply not enough doctors. My Renal Care digitally connects patients and clinicians, enabling a new care model that better uses resources. It dramatically reduces costs, increases doctor capacity, and improves the lives of patients. Lower costs, more capacity, and better health. CKD is a truly global problem and affects 1 in 10 people and is growing 8% a year. Its management is really expensive. So in the US, Medicare alone spends £7.7 billion on renal outpatient care. And on top of that, there aren't enough doctors to manage the demand. My Renal Care started with the feeling that there must be a better way. Back in 2016, Dr. Nick Sangala, my husband, was telling me the story about Jack, who handed him his handwritten notes outlining the pain he had endured during dialysis over the last 3 months. He really wanted to help Jack more, but his clinics were overbooked and he simply didn't have enough time. Surely there had to be a better way. Later that year, My Renal Care was born, and the first version focused on home hemodialysis. We then expanded the functionality to cover all types of dialysis and chronic kidney disease. And really excitingly, last year, we won an NHSX award to help us scale. Today, we have over 1,000 patient users and rapidly growing, and 93% recommend us. Independent health economics shows that My Renal Care reduces renal outpatient costs by 25% and increases doctor capacity by 30%. We're just negotiating our first NHS contract, and we've already had international interest from as far and wide as Brazil, Ghana, and Australia, and we're just getting started. My Renal Care is a groundbreaking new care model for managing chronic kidney disease. It caters for all stages of the disease, all forms of dialysis, and even transplants. We're driving a huge shift from a paternalistic doctor-led care model to patient-supported self-management, moving from managing stable patients to treating those most in need, shifting where the care happens from in-hospital to at home, and replacing regular just-in-case face-to-face appointments with point-of-need and data-driven care. The future of healthcare is here. My Renal Care is the comprehensive single interface for kidney patients and doctors. Patients can get more educated, they're more engaged with self-monitoring and more empowered as they can access their doctor directly as and when they need. For doctors, they can be more responsive and remotely monitor their patients, much more efficient with virtual consultations that take less than 5 minutes, requiring no phone or video calls, and much more effective with more data, enabling better decision-making, more research, and future AI potential. My Renal Care could save the NHS in the UK more than 600 million by 2030 in renal outpatient costs alone. The NHS is widely recognised as one of the most cost-efficient healthcare systems in the world, suggesting there's plenty of upside potential in other healthcare systems. We intend to make money by selling annual software licenses to healthcare providers, so a B2B model, and it can work in any healthcare system. So for example, in the UK, the NHS would be our customer, and in Singapore, it could be a blend of government and private healthcare providers. Our initial focus is on My Renal Care, but I hear there are quite a few cardiologists in the audience, so you may be interested to know we already have a prototype up and running for heart failure. And on top of annual software licenses, we see further upside revenue potential with advertising. We have created a three-pronged route-to-market approach in the UK. We know doctors are big decision makers, so we're focusing on clinician advocacy. Patients can be really effective at lobbying for change as well, and we're working with government agencies, and we believe we can replicate this model in other markets. We're truly differentiated from the competition. We haven't just digitized an existing process, we've created a new care model. It's a comprehensive solution for renal. It's truly device agnostic. It's highly flexible and a plug-and-play solution that can be used in any healthcare setting and provides unique education content. We're widely recognized as best practice and loved by patients and doctors. We're really proud to say that 93% of patients recommend using us. We believe we have the right leadership to make My Renal Care a success and improve the lives of millions. Dr. Nick Sangala has lived firsthand the issues with the current ways of working and has a vision for a better way forwards. Myself, an experienced business leader with a track record of growing digital businesses, and James, our CTO, who is an engineer by background and a successful serial entrepreneur. We are currently raising 1.25 million to accelerate our growth trajectory and capitalize on our first mover advantage to become the global leaders in chronic kidney disease management. We're really looking forward to hearing from you and exploring how we can work together. Thanks.
Thank you, Sashi. Great credentials and great anchor customer, NHS. Okay, any questions from anyone from the audience? No? Very clear? Okay, actually I don't have questions as well because it's very clear with competitor analysis, big customers, and your business model as well. So thank you very much for that, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now let's welcome someone who is on site, right? Chai Ling from Hikura Medical. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, right, thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm Chai Ling, the CEO and co-founder of Hikura. Very happy to be here today. So Hikura is a Singapore-based medtech startup, and we develop AI algorithm for ultrasound-guided medical procedures. So our main aim is really to empower medical professionals to make better decisions during interventional procedures. And the first area that we're looking at is in epidural, spinal anesthesia, and lumbar puncture. Now, you'll be surprised to know that 6 in 10 women in labor require multiple punctures for epidural, myself included. So I went through a lot of distress and trauma for the birth of my second child when I had epidural. But not just that. 7 in 10 seniors also require multiple punctures for their spinal anesthesia for procedures such as hip or knee replacement surgeries, which are getting very, very common nowadays. And also for children or even adults who have unexplained fever or suspected meningitis, 3 in 10 got their treatment delayed because of a failed lumbar puncture. Now, all these are what we call a spinal injections. It's injections into the spinal area. And in the world, there are about 76.5 million of these procedures performed annually. Now, these are very challenging procedures. It requires a lot of precision as the pathway for this needle insertion is very narrow. So the optimal area to insert the needle is between the L3 and L4 interspinal space. If you put the needle up a little bit too high, it might hit the spinal cord, which usually ends around L1 and L2. But if you try to be more conservative and try to put it a bit lower, then the nerves at the intended area will not be blocked, leading to ineffective anesthesia. The second thing to note is the angle of insertion. If you insert the needle the wrong way, it will hit the bone and not be able to proceed to the epidural space. And so this is a very challenging procedure. But what the doctors are doing nowadays is that they're using a landmark and palpation method where they use their fingers to feel for the bones. And this relies very heavily on the interpretation by the doctors, so the junior doctors may not do that well. It is also blind to target and not effective for heavier patients because the doctors won't be able to feel any spinal structures. And hence, the first attempt success rate is only 43%. Now, medical boards and hospitals have been trying to encourage doctors to use ultrasound, just because with ultrasound guidance, you'll be able to look at the spinal structures and know exactly where to put the needle. However, we see difficulties in the training of the ultrasound as well as the image quality. And so even though the first attempt success rate increases to 77%, only 10% of the clinicians are using ultrasound frequently. And one of the main problems is the difficulties in ultrasound training. Surveys have shown that more than 60% of the clinicians have never used ultrasound for spinal anesthesia or epidural due to the lack of formal training, and there's a steep learning curve, and that up to 50 supervised trials and training sessions are required. So what the doctors really need is for someone to be beside them, like a sonographer, telling them what these images represent and telling them where exactly to put the needle. That's where we come in, USign. So we are an automated AI ultrasound guidance software for precise needle insertion. And let me show you how we function. So when the doctors put the probe on the patient's back, we are there to automatically identify all these structures. So the doctors just have to move the probe upwards until these two lines matches. That's the L34, as simple as that. So the doctors would then use a surgical marker to mark this line. This is the L34 line. And then they'll turn the probe 90 degrees to scan in the transverse view and move the probe left and right until the two lines matches again. And he or she will tilt the probe to find the right angle. And the right angle is found. We see the epidural space here, and we can tell what is the skin to epidural depth. The doctors then do the surgical marking again, and then we X marks the spot. So that's the place where we put the needle. So we are a software, so we operate on a software licensing model. So the hospital would just have to pay a software licensing fee, and they are using their own existing ultrasound machine. So that is really our main value proposition. We are compatible with major ultrasound brands, including Fujifilm Sonosite, Siemens, and Myray. And we can be compatible to more. So what we do is that it just takes a 2 minutes simple setup where you connect a laptop to the ultrasound HDMI or DVI output port to get the images from the ultrasound machine. So we are currently HSA approved as a Class B medical device and used in Singapore hospitals. We have done 3 clinical studies on over 200 patients that have shown first high needle success rate. But the difficulties is really in the obese patient, whereby it's an alarming 43% success rate on first attempt. So we have managed to double the accuracy, and obesity is really a very prevalent problem, especially in the Western countries. And so this brings about huge benefit, including reduction of cost for the hospitals. We reduce complications and training costs, reduce the procedural time by reducing number of attempts, leads to better clinical outcome, and improve patient satisfaction. So this is our competitive landscape. Ultrasound adoption is on the uprise. We see a lot of startups that are using ultrasound images for their AI algorithm, but most of them are in the diagnostic space. And we also see a lot of hardware providers, but they are using the proprietary hardware. So our value proposition is really that we are equipment agnostic and real-time image guidance for interventional procedures. So what we aim to do is really to be the leader in the ultrasound guidance system. Our first product is USigned in the lumbar area, but it's really an AI platform that can be extended to other parts of the body, including the upper parts of the spine, regional blocks, nerve blocks, and OBGYN analysis. So we already have current R&D projects that span across different parts of the body in collaboration with 6 other hospitals. So here are some of our achievements. We were named as one of the top 5 research breakthrough over the 200 years of history by Sync Health. We were featured in Forbes Asia 100 to Watch, and we were the winner of the University Startup World Cup last year. Here is my team. I'm the CEO, and I have 4 years experience in medical innovation and 7 years in project management. I have Prof. Alexia, who is the CEO of KK Women's and Children's Hospital, who provides feedback on as a management of hospital. Prof. Sen Man Leong is my clinical advisor. He's the HOD of the Women's Anesthesia. And John Teo is, he has a serial entrepreneur who has launched many MedTech projects overseas. So he's running my commercialization plan now. So we hope you join our journey to bring better care for patients all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Maybe I welcome you to stay here.
Oh, okay.
So any questions from the audience?
So I think this is a wonderful tool.
Oh,
but
thank you.
still, when we face obese patient, it's going to be hard to get the right images, right? So I mean, AI will help to identify those the structures, but is there time when even AI failed to accurately identify the L5 or L4 or whatever the structures?
So, and that's why we are using, we are compatible to hospitals' existing ultrasound machines, and this gives better images as compared to the portable ultrasound machines. The multi-purpose ultrasound machine in the hospitals actually really do give better images. We are trained on a lot of data set on obese patients, so we don't have any difficulties in picking out the right structures from the images. But of course, right now in Singapore, we don't have that very high BMI. When we move to countries like US and Australia, and we are planning a clinical trial in Australia that will recruit very high BMI patients, and that's where we'll continue to evolve and optimize the software for those. Thank you.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I am thrilled that you cited one of our papers on lumbar puncture, so I have a particular affinity to this, but it also means I get the permission to ask you a very hard question. Lumbar punctures as a procedure has unique difficulties that don't necessarily project to the other procedures that also use ultrasound. And so the marketability and scalability cannot just be a copy and paste of your algorithm, of course. So you seem to have a team that can generate a new algorithm for these other procedures, but could you talk more about if you cannot do a simple copy and paste of the algorithm that you developed for the lumbar punctures, what are the next steps for the next procedures that you have in mind?
Thank you. So in response to that, our first procedure was doing lumbar epidural and spinal anesthesia. And I'm happy to announce that we are starting a trial with National Neuroscience Institute to do USign on lumbar puncture. So that's coming up next. And actually, we are starting very, very soon in the next few weeks. So we have done volunteer studies for lumbar puncture. So I'm happy to say that it does work for lumbar puncture. So the main differences between epidural, spinal anesthesia, and lumbar puncture is probably that lumbar puncture affects all kind of patients, right? You have from the very young to the very old, and that the position is usually on the lying down method as compared to obstetric anesthesia, where it's usually sitting up. So we have managed to overcome all these difficulties. Yes, the AI software relies very heavily on images that we have taken from our clinical study. And so this would likely going to be different when we move to the other areas. And so one of the challenges for medical technology is really to collect the data from the hospitals, and we have very, very strong support from Singapore hospitals. So, and that's why we have ongoing existing projects with other hospitals in Singapore and overseas. So that would be one of the main challenges, but it is also a big hurdle of entry for us with the other competitors out there, just because we have very good connections with the hospital that actually really builds up our value proposition. And so as we continue to commercialize one product, we are actually building up other products. And so this pipeline will lead us to commercialize our next few products sequentially. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Questions, because there's a category called team. So you have shown you have very good board of advisor and others. What about your team? Because that links to another question about cost. I'm a bit concerned about cost. You need multiple images, you need accuracy, and then who is in your team today? What's your cost like? What's your burn rate like? And you are selling as software licenses, right? If you can share what kind of pricing strategy you have. Yeah.
Yes, so we are selling, so uSign is actually really our first product, and in fact, we are coming up with the second product. We are, the lumbar puncture clinical trial is actually using uSign and PAMS, which is a needle guide system. So, but in reference to what you're asking is the team. So I myself, have a PhD in medical innovations, graduating from NUS. My co-founder's a CTO. He is also graduating from NUS with a PhD in machine learning. So that's how he's doing all the machine learning algorithm part of it. I have a team of 4 other staff who is working full-time together with me, including John, who is heading up our commercialization and market access strategy, and 2 other engineers as well as a business developer. So we are a small team as of now, and that's because we are holding our cash reserve while we wait for international regulatory approval. So we're in the midst of doing our CE audit right now, and we would likely move over to US or to get FDA later this year or next year. So all this is in progression. Unfortunately for MedTech devices, it does take some time to clear the regulatory hurdle. Yeah. Another
subscription model, pricing strategy.
Yeah. So basically, for uSign, it's a software subscription model. We are starting with a training tool now because our AI, you can do it on volunteers or do it on silicon models, and then you can train. And that doesn't require regulatory approval, so we can start to sell now. But really, the biggest benefit is when the doctors are doing the interventional procedure and using our software. So we are selling it as a software subscription model, but is complemented by, like I said, the second product, which is called PAMS. So it's a needle guide system, which is a consumable, so it's a pay-per-use. So after that, we'll have like 2 models. One is software subscription on annual basis, and the other one is pay-per-use. So that's how we capitalize on this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the audience? No? Okay, if not, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Thank you. Okay, thank you, Chai Ling. Very interesting. Okay, the next one is from UK, Inside Out. Presenter is Laura. Is Laura, you're on the line?
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, hi, Laura.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to all of these great pitches, and it's really great to hear what everybody else is working on. Lots of really exciting things out there. And so I'm Laura, I'm the CEO founder of Inside Out, and we are on a mission to put accessible and scalable mental health support into the palms of 10 million people's hands globally. And the reason why we're doing this is because in 2013, I had an episode of PTSD that had come about following a bereavement. And when I went to the workplace to ask for help and support, it was very thin on the ground and not particularly forthcoming. 6 months later, that led to chronic burnout mentally and physically, and left me with lifelong sustained inflammation and autoimmune disease in my body. But all of this could have been prevented with the right support in place. So we know mental health is talked about a lot. It's a global crisis. There's been so much innovation and investment in the physical health space, but there's been very little innovation when it comes to mental health. Yet mental health cases are still rising, but we know that therapy is expensive and there are insufficient therapists to meet demand. So, you know, it begs the question of why are we not innovating this space, and why are we not bringing advancements into mental health to help people get the support that they need? So globally, 1 billion people suffer with a mental ill health problem each year, and that's costing $1 trillion to the global economy. 75% of staff report feeling burnt out, and that could be staff in the kind of the workplace or staff within a clinical setting. And we know that 2 in 3 patients have anxiety either pre or post operation. And a statistic that's not on here is that 50% of cancer patients that go into treatment with a positive mindset have a successful recovery versus those that don't. And by 2025, there's not going to be enough therapists to meet demand. So this is where Inside Out comes in. So we're redefining the future of mental health care by combining AI, VR advancements and mobile technologies with clinical interventions and clinical frameworks. So to date, we've been working with workplaces, so leading brands such as Macmillan Cancer Support, Red Bull Racing, Aviva, one of the largest insurance companies in the UK, and professional service firms to help their staff access on-demand mental health support in the form of immersive mindfulness tools. So we've been using virtual reality to be able to help people escape from any trigger situations that they might be currently in, and then use that to access mindfulness-based interventions such as guided meditation, such as breathwork exercises, and so on. And what we've found is that by accessing these mindfulness-based interventions in a virtual reality setting, that they are 7 times more effective than listening to their audio counterparts. And that's for a number of reasons, and I can answer those in the Q&A later if that's applicable. But essentially, we're currently working with workplaces, and we're looking to move into a clinical setting to be able to validate the framework that we're building. So to date, we have 96 exercises and tools and learning modules that are within a whole number of different environments. And here's some examples of the environments that we currently have available. And what we're currently building out at the moment is we've just won an Innovate UK R&D grant, and we're going to be using that to build out a generative AI coach, Seren, who you can see here on the screen. And Seren's going to be able to take you through diagnostics. So we'll be linking in with wearables to understand your health data, such as females' menstrual cycles, stress levels, heartbeat, and so on. Feeding that through, coupling that with clinical diagnostics, such as the GAD-7 and the PHQ-9, to be able to understand the severity of some of these mental health and how they might be feeling at that point in time. And then based on that, giving them personalized psychoeducation modules to do. So educating them about the mental health challenge that they are experiencing at that point in time. And that's a bit that's very much missing at the moment, is that education piece about what some of these conditions are. And then on the back of that, giving them access to a structured therapeutic program, which will be a 6-week mindfulness-based intervention that they'll be able to do to help with anxiety, stress, depression, traumas, and so on. And we see this working within workplaces where we're already working, but also moving this into primary and secondary care settings. So, for example, oncology wards, patients that come in for their cancer treatment, for their chemotherapy, helping them remove them from the clinical setting, transporting them to these beautiful worldscapes where they can then access the mindfulness-based interventions, which we know are as effective as CBT and some of the other evidence-based mental health frameworks that exist. It's a cost-effective solution. There's no human input required, so it's hugely scalable. And we know Inside Out works. It's been proven. We've doubled our revenue in the last 12 months. 82% have reported feeling less stressed and anxious as a result of going through the intervention. And we've found that there's an improved focus and productivity of 75%. Over 90% of our users would recommend us, and we've got a really great lifetime retention number there, as you can see. So in terms of who's behind this amazing product, myself, I'm the founder CEO. So I have a mental health master's degree, which I graduated in 2006. published academic author several times over. I won the Alibaba Startup Competition Award, and like I say, we've just secured an innovation grant, and we've also won an NHS Innovation Award as well. Fraser, who's our CTO, he's scaled tech teams up to over 40 people. He's a VR expert. He's built leading VR apps previously and also mobile apps. And he's worked for a number of successful startups that have gone on to scale and exit. And then we're supported by our clinical lead, Dr. Adva Siegel-Tetro, who has a PhD and a postdoctoral fellow from Oxford University. Her PhD is in mental health and digital solutions. She's a chartered psychologist and also is a published academic author. So we know the AI market is the fastest growing market out there. It's only just starting to boom, and it's sort of scary how fastly that's growing. But that combined with the XR market, we know that the XR market is growing 400% with a compound annual growth rate of 37 or 38% year on year in the last 5 years. So in terms of our business model, we sell our solution to workplaces on a SaaS license fee that's charged annually. We're looking at running a number of trials at the moment. We're actually partnering with a couple of universities, Cardiff being one of them, to start running trials within NHS departments and trusts. So that, again, will be on a SaaS license fee charged annually. And then in the future, there's an option for us to have individual subscriptions, which could be, a monthly or an annual subscription. In terms of the competition, we know the mental health space is busy. There's a lot of different apps out there. A lot of them are mobile apps, which are those ones sort of in the sort of middle columns there in the lighter teal color, providing various different mobile solutions. And then at the end of that spectrum, you've got in the darker teal, the other VR platforms that exist. How we're different is that we provide our AI avatar coach, that's Seren, who leads you through all of the diagnostics. She's on hand to help you answer any questions that you might have. We provide our psychoeducation and our structured 6-week mindfulness-based intervention, which again is a clinical intervention in its own right. So again, like a lot of the other companies here today, we're also raising our seed round, and that's so that we can go and win market share and further develop the product and then grow and expand into other sectors, including the clinical sector. So thank you so much for listening. We're here today, like I say, because we'd love to tell you all about what we're doing, but also we're looking to partner and break into the clinical arena. So if anyone is able to help with that, that would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I welcome questions from the audience. Anyone has any questions? Mental health is actually a very big market, but not easy to penetrate as well, right? Because getting people willing to share and able to make it public to some extent is not easy. That's why I was involved in some mental health startup as well. I mean, they are doing Telegram, they are doing Metaverse, right? Your second personality, your avatar. So those are the common things that people are doing to some extent. Yeah. Any questions from anyone? No? Very clear? Okay, anyway you have. Okay, Todd has another question. Yeah?
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you also for revealing some vulnerabilities that allow you to strengthen the product with your personal story. My question is about entering that mental health space. There's a lot of companies who do wellness, and then they're quite squeamish about going into mental health because it becomes clinical. And you've actually decided with your company and your team to really move forward into mental health, which comes with some caveats. Could you give us some insight on how the software will start linking with actual clinical care? Should the crisis be insufficient for AI? This is probably a question that you've had before.
Yeah, of course, and it's something that we take really seriously. So we have protocols in place when we're screening people to ensure that they're not at risk of hurting themselves or somebody else or threatening their own lives. And if they are, we then have safeguarding measures in place where we're able to put pathways into the crisis support partners that we work with. So we work with people like Shell, the Samaritans in the UK, and so on. So these organizations are set up to be able to provide crisis care. So we have really great relationships with them. Like I say, we're able to, through our pathways, to put people in touch with the relevant team, depending on what that crisis might be. So it's something that is in place, and yeah, we take very seriously.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Laura. Okay, thanks for the presentation. All right, great one. Solving a mental health problem. Thanks. So now come to the next one. That's from Medical Eyesight from UK, and Anna is the presenter. Welcome,
Hi,
Anna.
everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. Let me share my screen. Thank you for having me. I'm presenting today about medical eyesight and our mission in augmented reality and extended reality to bring that into surgery. We're based in the UK as well as in the US, and have teams both there and here. I'm calling in from the US, so it's very early for me on the other side of the coast from this. And what we're trying to do is enable digital surgery with augmented reality. And the whole project span out of Imperial College in 2018, where our team published a paper and was part of the first reconstruction surgery with models performing reconstruction of arteries of trauma victims. And so we've since then moved on. We were part of some pandemic response units and really want to lead the fourth wave of surgical innovation. Each wave of innovation has solved very big problems. Obviously, open surgery has started. Then we went into the more minimally invasive surgeries. However, that innovation came with problems that need to be solved. And those are the problems we would like to solve with this. And we use HoloLenses from Microsoft in order to enable us to solve these issues and 3D reconstruct systems or situations in the surgical OR. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. Our medical eyesight cognition software gives us the ability to map very accurately and seamlessly the integration of cognition modules in the OR. So we're doing this live in surgery. We work together with Imperial College Trust on several procedures in St. George's Hospital, with NYU Langone, and with a couple of technology providers like NVIDIA. Minimally invasive surgery management has a problem of 2D images that create a problem where the surgeon will have to look away from the patient, and that creates a coordination problem. And there needs to be kind of longer and more attention focus on how this works. And here you can see a catheter being pushed through an artery that we've mapped. And so surgeons have a 2D situation, and we are transforming it into 3D. And other places where navigation was industry critical, where, for example, geolocation and guidance tools that are out there from the aviation space. And we would like to do this in this place. We start with stroke. Stroke is time is brain in stroke, both in aneurysms and in strokes. And here you can see a mechanical thrombectomy procedure, which is the first procedure we're going after to solve this issue for clinicians during this procedure, whilst the patient is busy. In this procedure, of course, a surgeon has to spend a long time. It's about 4 to 5 hours positioning this. And here we can see a 3D reconstructed model of this, where we can pinpoint quite accurately where the catheter is in the artery system, and can trace it and guide the surgeon into where best to go and which route best to take for this. And we've done this at Imperial College in London and in in other places to showcase how this works. And here we see the catheter being driven. This is a real model up to this space. We partner with NVIDIA on these problems because they need move through. We're an augmented reality surgery platform. We're based in the US and in the UK. I'm currently based in New York and calling in from here. And we provide digital surgery with augmented reality in the OR. Okay, this is the end. 1 second. And we want to lead the fourth wave of surgical innovation with this. We started out at Imperial College and started this project through with a paper that was published by the team on augmented surgery, where we reconstructed the vessels of trauma patients that are out there. We then have been working with the COVID response in order to facilitate medical care, as well as have been featured in quite a few technological advances for this. Each wave of innovation that we have solves some big problems and brings some more problems. The open surgery field obviously started, it went then into like more minimally invasive surgery procedures that are on the rise. However, these procedures come with significant impairments, and these are exactly the impairments that we would like to solve with our digital surgery platform, where we use augmented reality in order to solve 2D navigation issues, impaired vision, and the cost of more advanced robotics devices, so that we can provide better care in many different applications. We do this with our cognition software that we have. It's a seamless integration into different tools. We're agnostic to the provider of augmented reality glasses, however, work with Microsoft HoloLens a lot. And we do this interoperatively, which sets us apart from many other providers in this space. We've done this both clinically in St. George's and in Charing Cross Hospital, where we work both on breast reconstruction and stroke thrombectomies. For breast reconstruction, we already have a regulatory approval, and for stroke thrombectomies, we are just in the process of running clinical trials. We also work with NYU Langone and NVIDIA as a technical provider. Minimally invasive surgery is everywhere and needs to be managed, and we also want to expand that. Here you can see surgeons looking at 2D images, and what we need to do and want to do is reconstruct them, or have done, into 3D. Here we can see someone pushing a catheter up an artery. If you can see the image slightly moving, and this is taken from the 2D version. In other industries, this is already, like aviation, this has already been done in guidance with navigation services, and this is exactly the type of information we would like to provide in the surgical space. In stroke, brain is time. This is really important. Here we can see a catheter being pushed up the femoral artery for strokes and aneurysm care. Here we can see a patient on a table whilst he's being provided. And here we can see what we have built. We've built a system where we can reconstruct this vessel network and can guide the surgeon through the procedure in 3 dimensions. And here we can see the catheter moving along the artery here. And we do this with augmented reality, so the surgeon doesn't actually have to look away from the patient and can be easily guided onto what's the best route to attracting this. We've done this work with NVIDIA, who's obviously provides us with technical equipment here, and is our partner. We've got a very strong team. Justin, our CEO, would have loved to be here, but is in a different time zone. And everyone on the team has both clinical background and medical device background. That is significant. Our platform is not only for stroke, but also other care perspectives. We then want to go from this neuro market or neurointerventionalist market into the cardio market and into the gastro market. We are just applying for Class 2B device in the UK and have made many milestones, have received the letters of approval from MHRA, and are then moving towards the FDA approval later this year. thank you very much, and can I answer any questions?
Thank you, and sorry for the disruption. Yeah, very good presentation. Any question from the audience?
Can you talk a little about the accuracy? So whenever we apply the AR to our real patient, the precision is important. Can you tell me the catheter, the precision?
Yeah, we run very complex algorithms that enable us to mimic image or the deformation of the tissue. We developed these through grants predominantly, and have spent the last 4 years developing these, but also who kind of allow for AI guidance that is associated to it. The precision, we've tested this in kind of the preclinical stages, and it's highly accurate to where it's going. It's tracking the catheter through the vessel network, and we've proven this to be safe. We're running real live patient trials within the next 3 months. So this will be a great outcome and showcase on this. In our other procedures that we did, like for example, the breast procedures, also there, and this is being used live at the moment in surgical procedures. Here also we have extremely accurate precision because we can map the tissue very accurately, and we can map the deformation of the tissue. One of the big challenges in augmented reality is, of course, mapping this, and we've got algorithms that enable us to do that. I hope I answered your question.
Yep, thank you. Thanks, Anna. Any more questions from the audience? If not, thanks, Anna. Yeah, great presentation. That's all we have, right? So, okay, thanks to the 8 companies or startup companies that have presented so far. We'll take about 5 to 10 minutes break now, and the 3 judges will actually consolidate the results, and we'll announce the winners after 10 minutes. Okay, thank you everyone. Please stay online and have your toilet and tea break. Thanks. Good. Okay, can people online see us and hear us clearly? Oh, no interaction. They can see us, right? Oh. Okay, great. So we have the results already out, and we are going to announce the top 3 winners. So I will have the honor to do the second runner-up, right? To be honest, the scores are very, very close, especially for the top 5. Yeah, it's just like 1 point difference. Sorry for that. Okay, you probably need to, well. Okay, so number 3, let me just announce the second runner-up. So what you'll get is the champion. The first prize will get 5,000 Sing dollar, right? And the second company, which is the first runner-up, will get $3,000, and the second runner-up in the third place will get $2,000. So let me start with the third place, right? Second runner-up. So the winner is actually Myrina from UK, right? The presenter was Sashi. I don't know if Sashi is online. Maybe we can bring Sashi online if you are. Yeah. So just well, we are bringing her online. So I think congrats, Sashi.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
$2,000 in the pocket, right? I don't know how much
Great,
you are trying to get. $1.5 million, if I'm not wrong. Okay, but that's a good one to start with. Okay, I think you have a clear, I would say you score well in business model as well as the market. So you analyze your market very well, right? You probably need to work a little bit more on your product itself, right? Because we feel that although it serves a lot of good value and purpose, the barrier of entry may not be the lowest among some of these companies. So that's something you can kind of look at. Of course, you have a great team, and your presentation was great. So congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You want to say a few words?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it and
Okay.
very helpful feedback as well.
Great, thank you. Thanks. Now I invite Timothy to maybe announce the first runner-up, the second place winner. Yeah.
So the second runner-up is the HiCura. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. I don't have any cash check to hand out, yeah?
He will sign you a cash check.
What? Okay, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think one of the main ideas or main things that we pick as your second runner-up is that you're actually addressing the real solution and put the problems, right? And then especially the barrier of entry in terms of it's actually, so it's a solution that's already can sell, and then I think people recognize the problem already, and then existing, you also can utilize existing kind of devices as well to just put on top of the software to make it work, I think, as well. So I thought it was an overall very good product. So team all agree as well. Congratulations.
Thank you everyone here for having me here, and thank you to the judges for recognizing our value proposition and our unique solution to solve a real need. But I think really this conference has given me an opportunity to expose my company in terms of worldwide audiences and the number of hospitals who may be behind the scene on Zoom and looking at my solution. If you want to connect with me, I can always be reached. You can go to my company website, hicura.medical.com, and then there is a contact me button, and then you can just contact me anytime. I'll be always available for a chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Congrats. Thank you and congrats. Now let's welcome Todd to announce our champion, right? The first place.
Before I announce the winners, I want to thank everybody in the audience on Zoom, especially those in weird time zones. And to be honest, all three of us had difficulties with all the companies which addressed very different issues, had very innovative solutions, and you guys are all doing wonderful work. So please come see us, all of you, on Zoom or wherever. But distinct pleasure of announcing the winner this time goes to Elvis, Jin-Hyung Lee. It's okay if you're asleep right now, but in case you're not,
Hi.
oh my God, you're awake!
That's a reason to be awake.
Right. So,
Well,
congratulations. Can
thank
see
you very
us?
much.
Yeah. So a few comments from us, and then I'll give you some chance to speak. So universally, the judges thought that you had a particularly high barrier to entry, and yet you actually got in. You have a problem that you outlined very well, and your company's actually really going through a process rather than just a single product, right? The actual digitization, the digital twin of the brain was more of a beginning of the means rather than the means itself. So we thought that was relatively unique and uniquely positioned, and with much higher level of scalability than we had initially imagined. So those are our comments, and we'd love to give you the floor for a little bit.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure and honor. It's about 3 a.m. here, so I'm actually in my pajamas now. So I prefer not to show my face in the current state, but thank you very much for recognizing the very long, hard effort that we have put into actually for the last decade. So we look forward to working with you all on as we grow and expand our project to address brain health care. Thank you very much.
And sure, and great thanks to all the companies, again, Aptera, MediVR, HiCura, Elvis, Medical Eyesight, My Renal Care, NewBase, and Inside Out. You guys did a tremendous amount of work, and we look forward to your future endeavors with all of us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks Todd and team for being for the judges, and thanks everyone for staying online. I think that concludes session 3, which is our startup pitch, competition, and networking. So please go to bed if you are in the different time zone that is not convenient for you. So thanks again for all the audiences for joining in this whole day, or rather half a day of International Healthcare Metaverse Conference event. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.